Nomad at Night, starring the one and only Nomad.
Yo, No Maniacs. Welcome to the show. This is Nomad at Night, man. I'm your host, Nomad. And I got my guy, my trusty over there to the right. My guy, Kids of Canuck. And down there, we got J2K, the newest member of the Nomad Network family. And my guy from Nomad Live jumped in with us tonight, man. And that's the Bishop down there to your bottom left, man. Hey, look here, man. This schedule has been released already, I believe, but it won't become official for a few minutes now, at least. I'm already starting to see graphics up there, and we're gonna get into all that stuff. And how about we get some let's get some thank yous and some shout outs to the people in the crowd as they're trickling into the chat, man. You guys, how about this, man? It's been a while since I said we asked for where you guys are from. So let's put your city and your state, country, wherever you're from in there, man. Let's talk about that for a minute. Give some shout outs to some people wherever they are, man. But let me pass it on to the Canuck, man. Let's get this thing started.
Roll call, No Maniacs, roll call. What's cracking? We're on a special event tonight, looking at the good old schedule release, and we'll have some conversations in and around that for sure. Give you guys a little bit of love to all the folks who are coming through here. We're gonna start things out with our guy J2K, who's in the building with us, newly joined. Mark Kazak is with us. Black Diamond. Who else we got? King Booker World rolling through. Cornelius Squalls, Jay Grizz, Victor Tangent.
Kid, you mind if I jump in and throw some shout outs to some names? I see Peoria in here, Victor Tangent. Northside Chicago, Levette, what up? Houston by way of Gary, Indiana, Smitty. Let me see what else do I see in there. Aurora, Illinois. He's living in Texas, but Mark Kazak. But I just had to jump in there. Let's just make sure we put that in there. I see Philly in there too.
Word up. We got Squeegee, Brent Coleman, Broski Bear is back. What's happening, Broski Bear? I think we rounded through just about the majority of the crew. Thanks for coming through, guys. We'll keep it moving on to J2K. What's happening, J2K?
Yo. Good evening, No Maniacs, and happy NFL schedule release night. Finally, the road to the playoffs begins. We'll get into detail of each of these matchups, but I got a few nuggets for you guys tonight to get really excited about. Before I do that, Mr. Bishop,
what's going on? How you doing, J2K? Canuck, my man Nomad. No Maniacs, how y'all doing this evening? Yes, I am joining the show for a bit here. I couldn't miss out on the schedule release, But man, hey, it's exciting. But I was looking here in the chat, and I see we got some folks in Texas in the chat. I am too in Texas. I'm in the San Antonio area. So what up, y'all? How y'all doing by way of Chi-Town West Side? But anyway, we gonna get into it. We finna get down into the nitty gritty of this here schedule, and I'm gonna refrain from predicting any wins and losses. I'm gonna try, but anyway,
not gonna die hard today because I'm definitely making some predictions today.
I said I'm gonna try. Don't hold me to it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, No man, what's going on, brother?
Hey, all I got is I appreciate everybody for being here, man. I'm just gonna shout out these everybody's chiming in from where they are, man. Bruja 7 from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, by way of South Detroit. Who else did I see? I think Brent Coleman is up there from Memphis, Tennessee. Who else did I see in there that I didn't? I don't know if I got the Jay Grizz kids, and I don't have my thing. But hey, man, I'm just
Milan, Illinois for Squeegee.
Squeegee from Milan, Illinois. What's up? Let me see. Make sure I got. Okay, I think we pretty much hit. Jason Jones is in Indiana.
Memphis, Tennessee. Brett Coleman.
Yeah.
What else we got out there? Oh, we got Jay Grizz in Philly. I didn't realize you were in Philly, Jay Grizz. Philly. Aurora, Illinois, Mark Kazak. Smitty in Houston, by way of Gary, Indiana, he says.
Let me tell you guys what we got for you tonight, man, and keep it coming, man. As people come in there, we're gonna find out where people are at, and hopefully they'll let us know. But tell you what they are right now. I'm looking at ESPN on my screen right now, and they're talking about the Monday night schedule, the Monday night football schedule, and of course, I think they have a new lineup. I think they got I don't know, is Joe Buck and Troy Aikman still doing this thing, or do they have new people? You guys, anybody know that? Nobody.
They're still rolling. I think it was
I think they got rid of Riddick.
Phil Simms and Boomer Esiason are no longer.
That's the
Right.
CBS crew, right?
Yeah, that's a different crew, but
Right. Yeah, but yeah, the Monday night schedule. So how about this? Since everybody is so eager to talk about this schedule, BFR put one out by courtesy of the Windy City Productions. And this was an early leak, which I was complaining about earlier, but it's starting to look more and more like reality. So, Chris, if you don't mind putting up this graphic right quick, here's the schedule. And as you can see, let me take this comment down so you can see it, have a good look at it. And so this looks like the unofficial version of the 2024 schedule. And the colors you see, the dark blue are the home games, and the orange is away. And so it's a favorable looking schedule so far. In my eyes, I mean, J2K and I were talking about it in the background, but we're not going to get so deep into it. So we just give it all away. We're going to give the whole show away early in the game. But let's just talk about it in generalities. I think it's a favorable looking schedule for a rookie quarterback coming into a situation like this to get off early, to be able to get off early. There's no gimmies in the NFL as far as your schedule goes. These are the best players in the world, period. No game you can just consider, okay, we got this one down pat. Don't even show up for it. We got it. No, there's no such thing in the NFL. But as far as favorability goes, as far as that goes, this looks good. And according to J2K, he said it feels good all the way up and through week 6. Am I correct, J2K?
yeah, I think up until the bye week, I think that's a pretty favorable schedule. I think we could win more games than we lose pretty easily, actually. I really like that front end.
So let me ask a bigger question.
Before
Just
you do
looking at
that,
this-
Nomad, check the chat.
Hey, before you go, Chris, just take it down and we'll wait until it becomes official. We can just talk about it in generalities right quick.
Actually is on the Bears website now.
Is it?
Yeah.
So it's official now.
Here,
Yes.
let me grab it real quick.
Well, go ahead, kids.
Well, without the graphic is a little bit more. What I was going to ask was, looking at the graphic, looking at the schedule, what teams are you do you think the Bears might lose to? What teams strike fear in your heart on that schedule?
You're asking me or J2K?
I'm asking all y'all.
Well, we're gonna I don't think any team on the schedule strikes fear in me. I'll be honest with you, man. The team that worries me the most right off the top is that game at Houston. I think that is a ferocious.
That's a good challenge early in the. Yeah, that's a good challenge early.
That's a ferocious team right now. It's young. The coaching is young. They are hungry. They got a taste of it, and they're gonna feel like a pretty much a wood chipper. They feel like they put the pieces together. They feel like they can make a run for the Super Bowl, and it's gonna be early in the season, so all that piss and vinegar is gonna be there. Yeah, there. If I had to pick a team, it's definitely the Texans right now. And that's not the only one. I think Victor Tangent is kind of saying it too. The Rams early. That's hey, telling you right now, Matthew Stafford's a problem, man.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Squeegee. I think on paper, 49ers are the hardest team we face all year.
That was the one I thought Nomad would have hit on. That's the one that jumped out to me as well.
The 49ers, man, I'm going to say this, man, and I don't know if most people would agree with me. I truly believe the 49ers have missed their window. I really
I agree
believe
with that.
that. I think this team is well built, prepared, for the last 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years, I think it was their window to get a championship or two in. I think I think I've seen this cycle before, man. I'm pretty sure that they are I think you've seen the best of the 49ers. I'm not saying that because we've seen the best of the 49ers that the Chicago Bears with a rookie quarterback is prepared to beat them. We beat them with Justin, in his second year, with a downgraded team at a C level, but it was in a swamp, you know what I mean? But the 49ers don't seem as opposing as they were before. I think that loss took something from them.
That's interesting, Nomad, because I actually think that they've improved their pass rush with signing Leonard Floyd and Yetur Gross-Matos. And if anything, that was probably the biggest question mark on that team was getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. But you got an injured. We might have seen the best of Debo Samuels by now, wouldn't you say, J2K?
Yeah, I think the older he gets, the more wear and tear, because that guy just takes a beating. I mean, he gives a beating, but he's taking a lot of hits. They did draft a young receiver in Parasol, who will take time, but the cupboard isn't bare at wide receiver necessarily.
Yeah,
But it's a good matchup, man. And that Texans team, they're no joke. I would not take them lightly anyway.
Hey, be yourself. You ain't lying. I am sipping. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Having a good time doing it. And I hope everybody else is doing the exact same thing. Having a good time here, man. That's what this special is about. Is to come in here and celebrate and talk about it, man. We ain't trying to have no regular damn podcast tonight. We just in here to talk shit and have a whole lot of fun tonight. And I think I'm telling you, I feel people in the stock market talk this way, kids. They feel bearish and bullish, right? After looking at that schedule, Chris is downloading what they put on the website, on the Bears website right now. He'll put that illustration up in a few here. But I feel bullish about what we have going forward, man. I've been through let's just say I've been through a roller coaster of emotions since the whole thing with Justin Fields, because we put on so hard and supported Justin Fields so hard that you would have thought that we didn't have any room to support another quarterback. And I said this earlier on the show, that would be the farthest thing from the truth you can imagine. It was just being in support of him, having that not happen, having not getting the haul. I had to temper my emotions, as a podcaster for the first time, and realize that we had to turn a corner, and we got to get behind this cat number 18 and give him the same love and same respect that we gave Justin Fields. Yes, he's got to earn it. He's still got to earn it. But I'm going to give him the same piss and vinegar I gave Justin Fields. And I feel real damn good about how he's sitting based on how they set this stuff up for him. This is a hell of a situation for Caleb Williams. And I mean, I don't know if you could imagine a more favorable situation for a rookie quarterback. And looking at that schedule, the first part of it is just, whoo. I just think he's got a chance to get off rolling, man. I really do.
Yeah. Rolling early and rolling long, because anybody else strike fear into your heart, guys? Anyone?
You're talking about early in the season, right?
No, I'm talking about this and looking at this entire graphic. The guys that jump out to me right off the bat would have been your Texans and San Fran. You've also identified the Rams as, again, a potential team to be worried about. Clearly, we've got Green Bay and we've got the Lions twice a year. But I'm not really worried about any of these teams. I think the Bears can beat all of these teams.
We're gonna kids, we're gonna break them down. I'm gonna try to break down.
I hate to sound like super homer right now, but just looking at that schedule, I don't see no powerhouses. I don't see no dynasties. I'm not afraid of that schedule at all. I'm
And
happy.
no, man, I was going to say on the Bears website, they actually have, instead of a condensed schedule, they have images for each game. So, I mean, if you want to go through them I can share my screen and
There's also a video. I don't know if we can do that. Can we do that?
No video.
well, we can do that.
We
You want to
can.
do that? I don't know. We can do that. Want to do that?
No videos, man. I'd rather do the illustration, man.
I just want to hear you say "do that" again.
Do that. Do that.
Whatever illustration you want to do, Chris, I'm cool with it.
Well, you tell me when you want it. I can share the screen.
All right, so let's just finish talking about generalities, man, and we'll break down each matchup. How about that? And just go by. I feel good about breaking down the matchups. We got early in this season, man. We got a bunch of second year quarterbacks. We got a rookie quarterback, maybe two rookie quarterbacks in the first 6 games, I believe. But we got some second year guys in there, man. It's a bunch of young quarterbacks in this league, and a second year quarterback, I ain't gonna say is leap years away from a rookie quarterback, but it's a second year quarterback is second year. He's got a year under his belt in the system, so he's more advanced than a rookie quarterback, but not by a whole lot. And so it feels really good, man. I got some kind of nervous energy because I didn't think, I thought that we would get, based on the fact that we had the number 1 pick and all that kind of stuff, 2 picks in the first round, in the first 10, I felt like we were probably going to get the short end of the stick as far as scheduling went. And it's looking favorable, man. I'm like, Lord, can things be more aligned than they are right now for the Chicago Bears? I don't know how they can be.
Yeah, no, man, you hit on it right there. We play 8 games versus a rookie or a second-year quarterback. And this isn't including Jordan Love, who's playing in his second year. I mean, that's out of 17 games, almost half of them are against rookie or second-year quarterbacks.
Well, just
Against
think
with
about
our defense.
Well, look at this, J2K. The first 9 games of the season are all non-conference games.
Yes, or we don't
So-
play a divisional rival until week 11.
Right after our bye week.
Yeah, right.
So that gives us an opportunity to really stack the deck in terms of wins early into the
Or
season.
even if we just go 500 during that time and Caleb gets a chance to grow, you're looking at the back end of the schedule being the meat of the schedule and what's going to determine whether we get to the playoffs or not the front end. We're not going to lose, 4 games to division rivals in the first 6-7 weeks. It's all stacked in the back end. It's weird. It's like the NFL almost did us a favor with us drafting Caleb Williams. Like they gave us time for him to grow.
And that's the key right there. You hit the nail on the head. So those first 6 games, like you said, are, I will refer to them as being light. That's the best that I'll do. Texans are a little bit of that's a good test, a good early test for the team. We'll see how they fare. But let's just say they go 5-1 in that stretch imaginarily. If that's the situation now, this is when the kid's in his learning curve. He's just figuring things out. By game 5, you should have at least some level of a grasp on what's going on. If we can win those first 5 games on defense and a little bit of offense, by the time things finally click in, right, the Bears could go on a tear.
And you always know that when we get a bye week, when we get the bye week in week 7, that's when you do the self-scouting. You go, okay, what are we good at? What's working? What's not? Let's throw that out. Let's build this up. And it's perfect because we don't play any division teams. We get a bye week. We get to readjust. And then the schedule gets a little bit harder after that. In the next few games, we face the 49ers, Packers, Vikings and then Lions basically out of 4 out of the next 6 games are divisional rivals. But it just gives us an opportunity. Even if we go 3-4, or basically week 7 is the bye. So if we go 500, 3-3, we still have an opportunity because Caleb Williams has an opportunity to grow.
You got it.
Hey, Chris.
I'm not easy to dismiss the 49ers. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna dismiss them. You know,
That's
I
okay.
see
So
them,
we've identified 4 teams that might, that might give us a little bit of trouble
but
along the way.
very good tests to say the least. To be very honest, very great. Very good test for both defense and offense. So not gonna take anybody lightly, but very good test to say the least.
Well, how about this, man? Let's start looking at, because I think the schedule is pretty official now, Chris. If you want to share your screen, and let's break this thing down game by game, because I got a lot to say about each matchup, and I'll say this all the time. The styles make fights. I said this earlier. Matchups, man. It's all about the matchup, and where do the opportunities present themselves, and you can kind of look at each team and kind of decipher and kind of discern where we might have a particular advantage or no. And so each matchup shows you those individual situations. Chris, if you can pull up the schedule and the illustrations, if he's there, he might be eating a hamburger. There we go.
I am eating a hamburger, but I'm good.
So who is this? This is not week 1.
This is, as you see, this is off of the Bears website, and it is one of 17. So I haven't seen the schedule yet. I'm just going by what they got on the website.
I don't know what this
It's
illustration is
supposed
for.
to be the Tennessee Titans. That was
Could be the
confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Packers we don't play, so I don't know if this is accurate.
Yeah, this.
I think that's going division, and then
Okay.
yeah,
All
I
right.
think that
Well,
might be out of order.
I will
or,
search further. I'll search further.
or we're out of order. I don't know.
We can put up the old illustration and just go off of
I
that.
thought that illustration was accurate.
So this is the one from BFR by way of Windy City, the Windy City Productions. Let's just start right here with the Tennessee Titans. Second year quarterback. They just lost their head coach, who I think is a dynamo as far as a head coach goes. He's an impactful head coach. So we can be talking about any head coach in the league, and you can name any head coach in the league and discern whether or not that coach has any impact on his team's performance. I do believe the head coach that they just fired has a real impact on the way that team performs. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but I think he's going to be sorely missed. They have a second-year quarterback. They lost a few pieces. And, I don't know, man. I'll stop right there, and I'll just wrap it up when you guys give your thoughts about what you think about the Tennessee Titans matchup. I think it's favorable for us. Go ahead, Canuck.
Kids?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't think there's all that much there. I think this is a winnable game for our team. The Titans are a solid squad, but they're starting a second year quarterback in Will Levis, right? I think this bodes very, very well for the Chicago Bears, at least as a opening opportunity for Caleb Williams. I think it looks really good for him. So pulling for the kid and pulling for the squad. I think this is a straightforward battle.
Thank you,
J2K,
Brian.
what do you think about nuances there?
Thank you, Brian, Joseph, and Junior, man, for the Mike Brable. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
What say you?
I agree with you guys. I think this is a pretty favorable matchup. I think the matchups, if you look specifically that I'm looking at, their offensive line, they've spent a great deal of draft picks and free agency money in improving that, because they did sign Lloyd Cushenberry, and they did draft J.C. Latham, and they got Peter Skronsky last year in the first round. They also signed Tony Pollard, so I'm getting the sense that they're going to run the ball as an overall philosophy with a young quarterback. Now, the real interesting matchup is going to be coming on their defense versus our offense, because they drafted Tavondre Sweat out of Texas, that beast, who's going to be going up against our offensive center, Bates or Coleman Shelton. So I'm very curious how that plays out. I see a smash mouth game, because I think we're going to come into that game running the ball. They're going to run the ball, and it's going to be, it's going to be the least mistakes by the young quarterbacks that win the game.
Well, you mentioned Pollard. I'm not really afraid of Pollard. As if Derrick Henry was there, it'd be a different story. But the
Yeah,
fact that
less afraid.
right,
Right.
not the fact that Derrick Henry's gone and they're in a completely new offense, as well as we are, but not having Vrabel as a head coach, I think, is going to affect them a lot more than the fact that we have the same head coach. So I think that's going to bode well for us. And if I had to put quarterback up against quarterback, even though ours is a rookie, I lean more toward ours just because of arm talent and what he can do with the football. So I find it as a very favorable game. I believe it'll be a close game, but I take it in favor of the Bears.
I got an
Um,
interesting take. Kids, you might not like this, man, but I think they got more dynamic losing Derrick Henry. Why? Because I think Derrick Henry's a one-trick pony. I think Derrick Henry's not as much of a receiver and he's not as fleet of foot as some of the smaller and more dynamic running backs can bring to the table. I think they may have made an addition by subtraction by letting Derrick Henry go. That might sound strange to you guys, but I see Derrick Henry as a get downhill, hurt you if the late in the game when people are tired of tackling big folks. You know what I mean? I think you can bring more dynamic running backs into the situation and give you more of a threat in doing different things, man. I see Derrick Henry as I just put it to you this way. I think that they have a chance to put up as much production as they did when they had Derrick Henry. I'll just say that.
Well, age caught up with Henry a little bit, to be honest, to be fair. And
Whoa,
they did
whoa.
rebuild this offensive line. So what
Let the guy
Really?
speak now. Hold on, man. Let him speak.
I mean, in my opinion, you may disagree and you're welcome to do so. I don't see the same Derrick Henry as old as you guys may. Having said that, he's still a powerful runner and he's a good runner. So I'm not gonna say he's garbage, he's trash, he's no good. But with an improved offensive line and Tony Pollard, I do get where Nomad's coming back, that there is kind of an addition through subtraction, that they may still have a very good running game.
So here's why I was saying whoa. Much less to do with actual Derrick Henry and his age or his capabilities. I think he's fully capable, and I think we're going to see a whole heck of a lot of Derrick Henry being capable in Baltimore, another team we don't have to play this season. Just want to throw that. Just want to throw that out there. In any event, there's somebody we overlooked, and that is Tajay Spears, and that's why things are a little bit sideways for me when we talk about this run game. Tajay Spears is all of those things that Nomad said that Derrick Henry isn't. Right? He actually is. He's a really good back, and he's very dynamic in ways that Derrick Henry again is. Derrick Henry is much more north and south. Is he a pass catcher? Yeah, he can catch here and there, but mostly he's a north and south back. Good luck stopping him, and please God, don't step in front of him. The flip side of that is Tajay Spears will do all those other things. So now you bring in a guy who can do the same things as Tajay Spears. That's where my question mark for the Titans is, right? You bring in a guy who has more or less the same capabilities as the running back you drafted a year ago, and now there's more conflict as opposed to 1-2 punch.
Or
right?
maybe it doesn't
Derek
take you
going
out of
north,
your
south.
game plan.
Sorry, go ahead.
It doesn't take you out of your game plan.
If that is your game plan, right? I'm with you. Yeah, okay. Fair.
Yeah, and to be fair, Keds, I think if I remember correctly, we all loved Tajay Spears a
He's a
year
good
ago.
back.
Watching that film, he was a good back. So that is a good combination. But I hear exactly what you're saying. It's not the thunder and lightning that you tend to want for a team.
You guys might want to consider the signing because I'm talking about the Pollard signing. It might have been because of the Tajay Spears injury. Just making sure they get somebody in there that can do similar or same things, just in case Tajay Spears doesn't come back 100%. Who knows?
Is he hurt?
I think he did get hurt sometime last year.
Oh, okay.
He did
That's
something
Yeah,
like that. I don't
and
know
also
exactly
too
what.
maybe extend an aging Tony Pollard's career. You're not going to give him, first team reps or touches as a running back. You're going to split that up a little bit.
Brian just asking, did they sign Calvin Ridley and Tyler? Well, I think Tyler Boyd. I don't know about Calvin Ridley. He might have signed.
Yeah, they did sign Calvin Ridley. Yes,
definitely signed Calvin Ridley.
They don't. I can look at those moves and tell that they don't intend to take a step back at all. Not
Right.
losing Derrick Henry is not to them. They're not thinking or feeling like they're taking a step back. Losing their coach, they don't feel like they need to take a step back. But I know he's going to be a significant miss on the defense, and that's where Bishop. That's why I think we get to take advantage of that team. The continuity won't be there for the defense with Mike Vrabel not being there.
Right. That's what I'm. That's my mindset too, man. Honestly, I understand. I can see where they're trying to go offensively, but I think it's on the defensive side of the ball is where it's the not having Vrabel in the building will affect them early on, more or less. As the season progresses, I'm quite sure that won't have much of an effect on them. But to be the first game of the season, oh yeah, I think that'll have an effect.
And I think Victor points out, D Hop. We didn't mention him. He's still a good wide receiver. Age is kind of catching up with him a little bit, but when he's on the field, he is a good wide receiver.
Okay, I honestly forgot that D Hop was there. That really rounds out a really nice looking wide receiver core in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's actually a really. This is going to be a really interesting matchup, to be honest with you. Right?
Yeah.
This should be interesting.
And
we got wide receivers across the board, all three positions, close to being a one A, 1B, 1C situation. Two running backs that are viable over there. What do the tight ends look like in Tennessee? Actually, if I'm correct, Mo Alley Cox, unless he's gone. No, he's Colts. Always mix those two teams up.
That's Colts. Go ahead.
I was just going to add also, does Treylon Burks all of a sudden live up to his first round draft selection? He's been injured, but could he add that depth to that wide receiver group as well?
I've been hearing he's falling out of favor over there for some strange reason, but take that for what it's worth.
I didn't like him coming out of the draft, so
I did, and I liked his first season. I thought he played rather well. He was a late round fantasy stash for me. Didn't do much for my team, stash nonetheless.
I think advantage bears. Why? And you're gonna probably hear me say this multiple times. Defense.
Yep.
Defense. I think advantage goes to the Bears' second-year quarterback. I don't think Will Levis is impressive at times, but I don't think he's a formidable opponent when it comes to a defense with this kind of these many veterans in it. I think he can be had. I think he can be tricked. I think he can be lulled to sleep with some zone blitz packages, man. And depending on how often you get after this cat early and start rattling him and get him as a deer in the headlights, I think you might be able to get him off of his square a little bit. I'm going to say, and I'm going to say, I told you, I'm going to say this so many damn times, it's going to make your head spin. The defense is going to give us an advantage many, many, many times on the schedule. And I'm just going to give us, let's say, 60, 70% favorability here for the Titans. Okay.
You know what's funny? What's funny, no man, really quick on that? I see that as a stats game for the defense. I really do. I think because him being a second-year quarterback and considering he really took over mid-season, so even though he's a second-year quarterback, he's really completing his first full year if you consider the number of snaps. So I think this could be a stat game for the defense, with the different stunts and everything that Eric Washington will like to do. And I think Eberflus is going to be very aggressive defensively with his play calling. So I think it's going to be a stats game.
All right. So the panel is almost pretty much overwhelming. I ain't gonna say pretty much. Everybody feels like we have the advantage in this Tennessee game. I'm gonna give this one a W. I'm gonna give this one a W. How you guys feel?
Yes, sir.
W.
Full agreement here.
All right.
Yes.
Good football game. Great game to open the season. I think you're right, Nomad. I think the Bears win on defense. We did cheer this wide receiver core in Tennessee, but I personally think the Bears might have one of the best defensive secondaries in the league. I think they match up either way.
Again, so you guys let me know in the chat. You guys are already doing a pretty good job. Give me a W or an L. I think we're overwhelmingly getting W's in here, man. Nothing but W's. I just explained to you my reasons why they'll get it. I do think we have a couple of reasons. I think we have the advantage on this one. But this is where we getting W's everywhere. Everybody, Squeezy, Jay Grizz, Bruja, Victor Tangent.
I was waiting for the Don Burr L, but he gave us 7 wins tops. I'll take it. It was bound to happen. At least he didn't give the L.
Jason, UK Bears, Smitty. Everybody's getting. I haven't seen the L on here yet, man. But yeah. So let's get into week 2, and this is where I think. All right, let me knock on wood before I say this. The interesting thing about this team right here is they're going to look almost eerily exactly like we're going to look this year, in my opinion. The way they played with Stroud early in the season, shortening the field, cutting the field in half, making easy throws for him, getting the ball out of his hand early in the game, and getting him a rhythm. I think that's exactly what we're going to do with Caleb Williams. However, I do think this team has a ferocious, and when I say ferocious, I mean a ferocious pass rush. And this would be a game early in the season that if Caleb Williams were to get shook, and if there's ever an welcome to the NFL moment for Caleb Williams, I think it's going to be in this game. And I'm going to reserve any more commentary and stop right there so I can pass it to the Canuck. But I think this is going to be a moment. This is Sunday Night Football on national TV. I'm telling you, this team has a ferocious pass rush, man, and you got to be ready to have something in the script to beat that and combat that, neutralize that pass rush. Or Caleb Williams could possibly have a rough night on Sunday Night Football.
All right, so the Houston Texans has one of my personal favorite wide receiver cores as well. Nico Collins is a really nice wide receiver, very overlooked in the NFL. Tank Dell, in my opinion, is going to explode this season in a way where folks will remember his name. And then they just added Stephon Diggs to that wide receiver core. So game 1 and game 2, we're really looking at 2 squads with, again, something very similar to a 1A, 1B, 1C situation. One more time, I'm going to say that the Chicago Bears secondary, led by Jalen Johnson, is going to do some special things this season, and I think it's going to be evident after this game. Then I'm going to move over to the offense and say, the offense is going to perform, as in the Bears offense. The one question mark, I believe, in J2K, I got to ask, who's running the ball outside of Dameon Pierce in Texas?
Oh, they traded for Joe Mixon from the Bengals.
Okay, thank you. So I was going to say another 1-2 punch in – I knew there was another guy. I really like Dameon Pierce, but I think he may be falling out of favor. Joe Mixon's a solid running back. One more time, you got a solid 1-2 punch at RB against this. It's going to be a very interesting game. The Bears could lose this game. I'm calling it a W personally.
And kids, let me point out something to you just in case you forgot. Brian is in the chat tonight, and he wanted – they have two bad pass rushers, Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson. Just had to throw that out there.
Forgot about Daniil, but I definitely remembered Will. That's a situation to be felt. But again, I this will be the test for what Ryan Poles has done for this offensive line. This will really be the first time we get to look at that offensive line and see, can they withstand a viable pass rush case scenario? And if they can do so early in the season, and we can keep these guys healthy, they may be able to continue to do so throughout the season.
That pass rush is scaring the dog shit out of me.
It's frightening.
I ain't lying to you. That's I want to be bullish on this matchup, but and some who else said that somebody Victor Tangent, I got to highlight this for him because he made a very good point. And I said this offseason. Victor Tangent, he says CJ Stroud second year may regress. It's common with rookies to regress after film is picked apart. That's a damn good observation that I've been making with people all offseason. Kids, how many times have you heard me say that? Like, he's going to hit that rookie wall, and sometimes that rookie wall doesn't come into the following year.
And put a pin in that comment for let me see, that'll be week 17. When do we play Packers again?
I don't.
Week 11, and then again
The final week, week 18.
week 18.
Man, I don't have week 18 up. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, put a pin in that comment.
Yeah, I just this is I don't care how you want to slice this, but go ahead, J2K. I'll jump in front of you, man.
Oh, it's all good. I'm agreeing with everything you guys are saying. I mean, that pass rush is going to be incredibly hard to stop. The only silver lining that I like is that the first game we're going to play so much smash, run, football, pound it down their throats, that game 2 against the Texans, I think we're going to go into it doing the same thing.
Right.
And trying to get those defensive ends to play more containment so that when we do jump into some kind of a quick passing game, that maybe they're not getting that key or that first step. At the same time, I mean, you just got to look at that roster. They really made a point this free agency to make a push for the playoffs. Their draft was a little lackluster, in my opinion, but they really spent on wide receivers, traded for Stephon Diggs, traded for Joe Mixon, signed Hunter. They also signed a very good linebacker in Al Shahir. And they took a try on cornerback Jeff Okuda, who was a top 5 draft pick. So, I mean, you never know with this team. I think they've done everything right as far as rebuilding. They've got a lot of talent. But, first 3-4 games of the year, teams are still figuring themselves out. And it's kind of anybody's chance. It's any given Sunday in those first 3 to 4 weeks. So I won't just chop it up as a guaranteed L, but it will be a hard game.
I see the Houston game being a game, and piggybacking off J2K said, because I was going to say the same thing. I think this is going to be predicated on our run game starting out. This will be that game where we'll really get to see how our intermediate game looks. Because of that pass rush, Caleb's going to have to get the ball out of his hand pretty quickly. So that middle of the field, that intermediate passing game is going to be key, along with our run game. But I will say that pass rush does worry me. But I think the best way to isolate that or nullify it rather is to run that football, and I think that's what we're going to do. I really think our first 4 games. I know I'm jumping ahead, but I think the first 4 games of the season, we're going to really look to impose a will and set our identity in those first 4 games in terms of running the football and letting it be known that that's what we plan on doing. So I still think that we can squeak out a win. I'm not as bearish about it as I was the first game, but it's possible, very possible, but we do have to remember now we are playing this game on a Sunday night on the road. So
that's my thing. This is when I have to take my Chicago Bears hat off for a second and put on regular ass podcaster hat, be a regular old motherfucker, and just tell the truth how you see it. And the truth is, we are playing a Sunday night game in Texas, in their place, with a rookie quarterback, with a ferocious defense and 2 ferocious running backs they have. I like our chances But if we were in Chicago, I feel a whole lot better about it, man. I just think that they hit all the right, they checked all the right boxes in the offseason, like J2K said. They grabbed some pieces. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, in the chat, let me know if you think it's a win or a loss. Just be honest, you know what I mean? Be a fan all you want to be, but be honest with yourself. I see this one, the matchup doesn't. I think we can take advantage of them on the offensive side of the ball as far as our receivers go. I do think their defensive backs are a little suspect and can get caught up. I think they can if the defense can hold and keep Houston from scoring a bunch of points on us and not getting behind early. I think the defense will give us a chance to make this game competitive. But I do see this as an L by maybe 3 to 6 points. I'm calling this one the L.
You know what, Nomad? I think if this game happens in week 12 instead of week 2, Bears will beat them, even at Houston. But because we got so many new moving parts, man, I think this is going to be a tough game for us just in the second week. It's going to take some time. So, yeah, there's that.
Thanks, Chris. First, everybody's bubble, or at least mine. I think the Bears can pull this one out. This is a very tough matchup, and here's the reason why I think they can't. Reason why is because the script has been written on CJ Stroud. It's just a matter of somebody exacting it. We have a year of tape on CJ Stroud. Hopefully, the Bears defense can utilize that to their advantage. I expect this to be a much more defensive game for the Bears than it will be an offensive game, but I think the Bears can pull this one out. I shouldn't, but I think the Bears can pull this one out.
Go ahead, J2K. What you call it?
I'm on the fence. I got to see how well we do in game one and what they look like. Again, it's early in the season. It's any given Sunday. Some teams gel early, some teams don't. I would probably predict an L, but I think it could be a lot closer than we think.
Chris, did you give us your take, man? I think you called an L, but
because it's in Houston and it's so early in the season, I'm really worried about team chemistry. Like I said, if it happens, in week 12, I think I'd give the Bears. I think the Bears are more talented. I think overall the Bears are more talented. D'Amico Ryan's a good coach too, man. That young man is a good coach. So
yes, he is.
He'll have them ready to play. I'm not sure if that's their home opener or not, but there's going to be a couple of things that might cause the Bears not to win this game. But I mean, that's a ways off. Who knows what will happen? I'm out of the business of making predictions.
Hey, Chris, I'll tell you what. If these motherfuckers can go in there and get a W against Houston in their place, they're going to open up some eyes around the league, dude. They're going to put one on these stats, man.
If they win game one and then, they go into Houston and win, they'll be walking around with the big boy draws on. So
that's what I'm trying to say.
We'll see. We've already entered this. Today marks the day in the season of optimism, eternal optimism.
Some have joined.
Do you know where we were last year? 12-5, 13-4.
Hey, Don said we off to a 0-2 start.
Man,
Don,
tell Don it's Nomad at night. He will get cussed out.
Hey, Don, go wipe your butt with a pine. Go wipe your butt with a pine cone. I heard it's pretty soothing. How about that? Hey, so all right, let's migrate on down to Indianapolis, man. Again, here we have a situation with a quarterback, second-year quarterback that's virtually going to be playing his rookie season. He got knocked out early, very early in the season, within the first couple, 2 or 3 games, and he's going to basically be doing his rookie campaign over. And so when you think about the matchup, player for player, position for position, I think the Bears have the advantage here, but I'm not going to get carried away. I'll wrap it up when these guys give their take, but I like the Bears' chances at Indianapolis in their dome.
I have little to no take on this one. This situation, in my opinion, from a talent perspective, favors the Bears heavily. Not to really take anything away from Anthony Richardson, I am really just trying to say he's in about the same situation overall as Caleb is. He really didn't get the opportunity to play very much last year. So he's just as much a rookie as Caleb will be at that point in the season. So I don't see much chance of a loss in Indianapolis. I'm going W here too. That's
Yeah,
three guys.
I'm really curious about this game. The Colts in the offseason, they signed a lot of expiring contracts. So you don't see a ton of new names in the building. They subtract Gardner Minshew and place in Joe Flacco, which I think is a pretty fair swap. They did a good job with Gardner when Anthony Richards went down, but this is going to be the Anthony Richardson show. And I still have question marks about what he actually can do in the NFL. Very, very talented, but we just haven't seen enough to really to say one way or the other. I tend to lean towards a win on this one. I think we are the more talented overall team, and this to me is going to be more of a Caleb Williams, your third game. First two games we ran the ball, we kind of hid you a little bit. In this third game, maybe we start pushing this ball down the field and get a little pressure on them.
What
Now
say
you're
you?
talking.
What say you, Bishop?
I say, and I'm speaking boldly. We're gonna kick the door in. This is a win. Period. Defensively, I think we're gonna smack him upside the head. We're gonna get at Anthony Richardson a lot. We're gonna. I mean, it's rookie versus rookie, as far as I'm concerned. And I like our rookie over theirs. Bottom line, but I think defensively, I just think Flus is going to want to send a statement because that's the team that he used to be defensive coordinator. So I think he's looking to go in there and be ultra aggressive and literally smack them in the mouth. I think it's going to be a high scoring game for the Bears that game. They're going to run the ball as well as throw the ball. I think this is going to be that game for Caleb where it puts him on the stage to have everybody. Not that everybody's not going to be paying attention to him anyway, but I think this is that game where he actually steps onto the stage because I think this is going to be a big statistical game for him on that week. I'm being bearish with it, and like I said, I think we're going to kick in the door on this one, and this is going to be a very good win. We should be 2-1 after this.
All right, here's my take on it, and here's where I give. This is, I would say, and I said this during the off season. I said this a couple of times. Flus, stay out of the doggone. Yeah, no, stay out the goddamn offensive play caller's room. Stay out of there until this game. Until this game, go in there. He knows exactly what to do to pick apart this defense. He knows exactly. It's the defense that he built. It's just another guy over there managing it right now. This is the team. That's the defense that he built over there. He knows exactly. When I say exactly, he knows exactly where the weaknesses are. You can't a zone-based cover two concept. You can only do so many things to it to make it different. Only thing you can do is come out there man to man and change that up, and that's going to be an advantage to the veteran receivers that we have. If they go man to man, you can expect DJ and Keenan Allen to eat all over their ass the whole game. And so there's really a disadvantage for them to try to change that up. The best thing they can do, the very best thing that they can do is go to a zone concept and hope that Caleb Williams finds the holes in the zone and finds open receivers. But if they go to a man concept just to try to fool Flus because he knows that defense front, back, and center, they're going to get screwed over, man. And so this is I think this is a extremely winnable game for us for a variety of different reasons. That being one. Second is the rookie, the quarterback is going to be playing his rookie season all over again. And two, I think we have the superior defense. And so whether it be in Indianapolis, in Chicago, on the damn moon, I think we win this game. And I think there's a variety of reasons why. So what are you guys saying? I'm giving this one a W. So let me know. I think most people already let me know in the chat. I think everybody for the most part is giving this a W. And so yeah, this should be a gimme game for us if there's any on the roster. I mean on the schedule.
I agree.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get to here's another
Well,
problem.
before you jump there, man, there are only like 5 tickets left for this game.
Really?
This game is almost sold out. Yep, I'm on the Colts website right now.
sometimes I don't know when you're being facetious, Chris, but I
I'm
can imagine.
serious. There are five. There's four left now.
What do you think everybody's so excited about in Indy, man?
Well, you got to remember, man, the Bears was the home team in this part of the country for many, many years. So the Bears have a great following in Central Indiana. Believe me.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
there are not a ton of tickets left.
you and Brian are constantly telling me that though. It's just hard to imagine, man.
No. This is Bear country, bro. All the old folks like me and Brian, we're Bears fans. I like the Colts. They're the home team, but they're not my team.
Hey,
Anyway, the Bears should win this game. Quiddy Pay is he's gonna be a good player for the Colts, but I see the Bears winning this game.
hey, Brian's on your ass already, Key. He said your ass already starting your pregame.
I couldn't help myself, Brian. I'm sorry, brother. I couldn't help myself. You come on, man. You see what time it is, man. You see what time it is. You gotta feed a bear, bro. You gotta feed one.
What happened with your feed, man? Something just happened with your feed. It's like you
His
got
volume, your volume went down, man. I think you turned it down, reaching for the mustard.
There we go. I'm sorry, brother. No, I moved the mic out the way so I wouldn't get any sauce on my mic.
Smart move. Yeah, it never fails, man. You know the bishop is gonna need a toothpick during every goddamn show, man, because he's gonna be eating something.
I got my floss right here, brother. I got my floss right next to me, man. Look, bro, you gotta feed a bear, bro. You gotta feed a bear, man. You know.
Yeah, man.
And I got my tequila. I'm ready to go.
He said it's all love, man. Hey, look, let's get into this next game. Here's now this one I'm about 50-50 about. And this is one of those games, you know, being a person that's been watching the NFL all my life, seems like I've seen this situation a lot of times where the veteran quarterback, the really good veteran quarterback running the same system that we're trying to run and being an ace in it, being Matthew Stafford running Sean McVay's offense out there in LA. I would want to, in any other situation, I would give the Rams the W here, but I'm gonna tell you there's some good reasons why I'm not. Without Aaron Donald, that's one of the things. I'll just stop right there and let you guys pick up, and I'll pick up the scraps later.
Or Leonard Floyd.
Right.
That defense is not what it once was. This is a Super Bowl caliber, Super Bowl winning defense, or once upon a time it was. I think that's where they lose. That's really my 2 cents there. I think that's how this game will go. I also think something else. Regardless as to what happens in this game or the outcome, I think Caleb Williams is going to spend a lot of time watching Matthew Stafford in this offense and learning from him, and just through this game. And I've seen it happen with other quarterbacks as they watch, folks perform in their offense and take little tricks and tools away for use later on. I think Caleb Williams is going to grow as somebody who is within that offense, within the McVay system, by watching Matt Stafford in this game. That's my 2 cents. I personally think this one is unfortunately going to be an L. That's the L.
Before you go, J2K, if you don't mind, Victor's got another nugget. Victor Tangent. He said, this is my other early tough game. I took an L at Houston, but I'll take the W at home against the Rams. Why? Because Aaron Donald is gone and Waldron is familiar with the Rams.
Well,
very good points there. Very good.
This is a team that's taken it's going through a makeover right now, so they're going to have to rediscover their identity somewhat. Even though Stafford is still there.
I thought that last year, but look, they ended up in the damn playoffs, man.
Well, they had Aaron Donald, and they had some of their dogs still last year. Aaron Donald's his absence is going to have a big effect on that defensive line.
Yeah.
And you can believe that. I'm looking at who they've got. I mean, they did have Jared Verse, my guy, but it's going to take him a while to get his footing. So, I don't see this as being an L. I think we can win this game.
Go ahead, J2K.
For me, this is master versus the student. McVay, he is such a brilliant mind. He trained Waldron. I think he's going to know every little trick that Waldron's going to try to pull out. I would love to be optimistic with you guys. One highlight or one silver lining to this, it is game 4. When we talk about their defense taking a hit without Aaron Donald, I was a huge fan of Kobe Turner when he came out of Wake Forest. He balled out his rookie year. This draft, they added Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, and Cameron Kitchens. Now, week 4, they're still rookies. It's still going to take time for them. But I think they did a very good job rebuilding that defense with this draft. They also added Blake Corum, who I think can do a lot day one as a running back, kick returner, multi-purpose special teamer. And they did add a very good left guard in Jonah Jackson. So I would love to be optimistic, but I think this is where the master backhands the student in Waldron, and we take an L.
I was leaning L until I got a chance to see a little information on television. And I'm going to lean more toward a W on this one for a couple of reasons. The Rams are going to see the Lions the first game of their season. Then they got the Cardinals, the 49ers, and then us. If history repeats itself with the Rams the last couple of seasons, they don't start the season off well. So this is an opportunity for us to steal a game, I feel. Because one, they're coming to Chicago. That's a home game for us. So and we that's after we come off with 2 road games. I think and I think Caleb is gonna want to kind of do his thing a little bit. I think they're gonna let him a little bit. So I take it with I think I'm gonna give us a W on this one.
All right. How about this, man? I'll wrap this conversation up. I'll give us this is why I give us a couple of advantages. I mean, other than, what I can say about them having Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford will pick your defense apart. I don't give a damn what kind of defense you're playing, if given the opportunity. And that means pass and time to throw the ball. If he doesn't have time to throw the ball, this is where I think we have the advantage. And this is where I'm going to lean W for us. As tight as I think this might be, I think because we have Eric Washington and because he'll be able to generate a pass rush against this cat, I think we get Matthew Stafford a little bit off balance. I think we get him a little flustered in there just because of the pressures that Eric Washington will bring. I think we get this game by 7 to 10 points. I'm calling this for, and I'm gonna circle Eric Washington and the defensive front 4, the front 7, being the victor in this. I think J2K is right. In most scenarios, the offensive mind that Sean McVay has, plus the ace of a veteran quarterback that he has, doesn't bode well for almost any team. But I think without Aaron Donald, them having that guy there, Leonard Floyd not having that guy there, and the fact that we've got a defensive coordinator that specializes in the front 4 pressures. I mean, the front 7 pressures. I think they know they're going to have to get after Matthew Stafford, and I'm not sure about their running game either. And so I don't know that they have a running game that can really carry them. And so that's why I'm going to give this one to the surprise. As much shit as I talked before, I'm giving this W to the Bears. We at home. I'm taking the W.
All right, so we got a split panel on this game.
What say you, Chris? Chris, give his.
Yeah, I think the Rams. I think we beat the Rams, and they did upgrade their secondary too with Cameron Curl and who was the guy? Was it Buffalo? Tre'Davious. Yeah, he was coming off an injury.
Darius Williams? Oh, Tre'Davious White.
Yeah, there you go. So
and they also signed Darius Williams too.
Yeah, they plugged in some pieces, but something tells me it's gonna be because we're at home, we win the game. I hope so.
I'm telling you, you factor in the fact they've got a suspect offensive line to begin with. We're bringing in Eric Washington. He specializes in front 7 pressures and really giving offensive coordinators fits in how many he's sending, getting mismatches, getting pretty much overloads and outmatching as far as the numbers goes. He gets an extra rusher in a lot of times, man. I think it's a game of chess. I think Sean McVay is a West Coast offensive standout, man. He really calls the game well. But I do think we can get after Matthew Stafford, and he's one of those quarterbacks that's veteran enough that when you hit him early and often, you can kind of get him off his games, and he starts to throw wayward balls, man. And so I like our chances, man, especially at home. I'm telling you right now, I think we can get this. But all right, let's migrate on down to week 6, man, in Carolina. Week 5, October 6th in Carolina. I'm just going to pass this on to the Canuck. I just want to see where this goes before I say one word about this game.
I'll keep it short and sweet and say let the fleecing continue.
Yeah, we're gonna road grade these guys. What a terrible, terrible franchise. After this game, the talk of the NFL is how much the Bears fleeced the Carolina Panthers and the difference between general managers, King Poles versus I don't even know who they have. I think the owner acts more of a general manager than the actual GM does. This is just going to be a absolute beatdown.
You know what? I'm gonna knock on some wood because y'all laughing too much. I mean, you know what? Yeah, we have fleeced them. I don't. Hope they don't get revenge. I mean, they got a 7th grader at starting quarterback, so I'm not really worried too much. I think Bryce Young is. I just don't. He's not convinced me as being an NFL quarterback. Especially as the number 1 pick. They've got some good young pieces. They're still rebuilding. We're better than they are, so we should win this game, especially at home. So should be a W. But I'm not gonna laugh at them.
Hey, I'm just trying to keep things short and
Plus,
sweet. We only
plus
got
they
so
got
much
my boy.
time.
They got Leggett, man. You know.
They actually have a lot of pieces. They
Yep.
did really well in this draft. If you take a look at what this draft class meant for the Carolina Panthers, it's a pretty solid draft class, including your guy Xavier Leggett. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're there yet. I think they're at that position where they fully recognize, whoops, maybe we shouldn't have made that trade. This is literally going to be the game where that the reality of that is reinforced.
I want to know why Don Burr is not in the Detroit release.
I can tell you why. Do you want to know why? The reason is the Detroit Lions schedule is much harder than ours is, which bodes very well for us.
He's over here trolling and talking about.
Of course he is, because he saw the schedule and he's like, oh, I need to go make these guys feel terrible because their schedule.
The Lions have a podcast somewhere that you should
No, there would never be a Lions podcast.
Hey, Don's stuck in the damn bus station, man. This is the only channel he's getting right now. He's out there, man. That's Detroit Wi-Fi for your ass. All you get is Chicago Bears podcast. But I think this is and I do think the quarterback is going to be much better than he was last year. Everybody's writing that cat off as a bust because he's short. I don't think, if he was
he'll play well.
I don't think. I mean, if it wasn't a problem for him playing in the SEC, it's not going to be a problem for him playing in the NFL eventually. It's just a matter of them getting the right pieces around him, and they don't have near what they need. I think they'll be able to protect him a little bit better, and they got a better situation than he had last year. I'll just say that, but it's going to be it's light years away from what the Bears have set up as far as the infrastructure. He's in deep shit.
I don't think it'll ever justify him being the number 1 pick. Yeah. I don't think he'll ever justify that, and I hope he does well.
You're only saying it because he's short, Chris.
Man, he's a little bitty 7th grader, man. I'm sending my grandson up there to beat him up, man. Come on, Chris. Man, don't make me pull out that picture from a training camp last year. Like my grandson out there running around in the backfield.
But wait, Kyler Murray without the wheels.
Taller than Kyler Murray? You were right.
Yes, he is. Yeah, but he didn't move like Kyler Murray.
Exactly, without the wheels.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, it'll be a win for the Bears. Again, another home game for us, but I also think too, although they've added some nice pieces to their team, they're still not there yet. So advantage Bears on that one. I give us a W on that one.
It's about the easiest call I got so far. That's the one I didn't have to give much thought to. And not that doesn't mean it's going to be an easy damn game. It's no easy games in the NFL. You let your guard down for a second, any team in the NFL can get your ass. Period. I don't give a damn who it is. From Carolina up to the Super Bowl champions. Any team in the NFL, you look at this as a football player, if you go into this game like, hey, we're about to own these dudes, let's show up, they kick your ass all over the place. Period. So they better be ready for whether it's versus Carolina or versus the Super Bowl champions. Get ready for them. They're not going to come in there and just lay down and allow you to kick their ass. So get ready for them. But if they're prepared, which I assume they will be, as an Eberflus coach team, they will win this game. But let's move to Jacksonville. This is the London game. Hey, fellas, man, J2K probably gave me a pre-nightmare, man. He just reminded me that this game is going to be at 6 o'clock in the morning over here during our time.
Yep.
What the fuck are we going to do with a 6 o'clock in the morning game, man? How we
tape it?
Oh,
tape it?
Shit, exactly.
What the hell are we going to do with that, man?
You tape it and have a show the night before?
Tell people don't call me. Don't tell me how to.
Oh, we ain't doing no pregame. You know, we ain't doing no pregame that game. There's no
pregame. It'll be at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I'm tapping out on pregame right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love you guys. Love the Bears, but dag, we're talking.
No, but yeah, this game, we're gonna have to get the logistics of this shit straight, man. We have to make a plan for this situation. We over in Bellissimo country, man, and my guy Lee Bruin, and I think there's another guy, Jason, from the UK that's a no maniac, man. But yeah, this is gonna be a tougher game than people think too. And so I'll just stop right there and let you guys take over, and I'll pick up the pieces.
This is a Bears loss. No, I'm serious. This is a Bears loss for me as well, for a couple of reasons, and it has a lot less to do with what's happening in Jacksonville as a team. They've got a solid team, but jet lag, travel, weird stuff. Jacksonville has been doing this trip almost yearly, I believe. They generally wind up in London.
2-3 years, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they might be used to doing this at this point. It's a regular thing. Bears haven't been over there recently. The last time we were over across the pond, we got slapped upside our head, if I'm correct. I believe that was the Khalil Mack versus the Raiders game, right? Like that was that did not work out well for us. I don't think this one will work out well for us either, just simply by way of experience. I don't think they've had this type of experience as a team, and I think it's the effects of that are going to show on the field. So I'm calling this one a loss for weird reasons. Who's next?
Chris,
well, I think the game.
Chris, Don Burr has us at 1-5 right now, man. What do you think about that?
I think Don Burr's a loser. Look, there's his helmet. Look at that. It's ugly. It's ugly. That's ugly. I don't listen to people.
That's what he wears on the bus.
I don't even listen. My grandson drew that for them, and I didn't see a lick of the money. Anyway, Jacksonville. I'm afraid Trevor Lawrence is going to take a step forward this year. The dude is super talented. He hasn't lit up. I mean, he kind of had an all-down year last year, but that dude is talented, man. And I think he's going to probably join the elite quarterbacks in the league this year, or he's going to come close to it. So that's a little scary for me. I'm looking through their roster. They've got some really solid people on the offensive line. Their defensive line, they got Eric Armstead. They got our old boy Roy Robertson Harris, who's a good player. So they look pretty solid in the trenches. So, that's not a good combination. Good quarterback, good trenches. So this is a scary game for me. So I'm going to go ahead and agree with kids. I don't think the jet lag's gonna make a difference. I mean, they both got to travel. There's no, I think
you ever travel to the UK? You ever travel to Europe, bro?
Oh yeah, I go every year.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
not. Anyway,
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say that because jet lag,
yeah,
that kind of jet
I
lag
know.
would kick
I get it, but they both have to go. I mean, so
Yeah,
that's like,
but the other guys might just be a little bit more prepared. They may decide to go a little bit earlier than that's actually what happened the last time. Remember, the Raiders went like
that
4 or
can
5
happen.
days earlier.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't think that's going to be that big a factor. I worry about Trevor Lawrence, and if we're able to pressure him, it's going to give us a greater chance to win. But they picked up Gabe Davis, and they've got Devin DuVernay, Brian Thomas Jr. is on their squad too, guys.
Hey, Chris.
So, yes, sir.
You know what I think about Trevor Lawrence? I think you're right, man, about his ascension. But here's the double-edged sword here. I think he's in a situation where he can either equally. I think he's in a parallel tier where he can ascend or become the actual problem on that team because of not ascending. You know what I'm saying? Like it
I get it.
was about 50-50 last year,
He
but
could be at the crossroads,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
But I think you got to remember when this kid was coming out, he was actually the last quote unquote generational quarterback coming out. So he's talented. I mean, we've all seen him play. We've seen him throw. I mean, he's tall. He can run. He's a dual threat. Yeah, there's that. So I think this is going to be a tough game for him. This will be a tough game for him. We'll see, but I'm gonna give him an L on this one for right now.
All right, J2K, what say you, buddy?
Well, I'm kind of on the different side of the fence here. So I agree with you guys that I think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. They do have a pretty good wide receiver core. Their run game was terrible last year. And I don't care how good your quarterback and wide receivers are, if you can't run the ball, it becomes obvious. The defensive ends can just rush the passer. I read something like week 15 through 17, they didn't attempt a single run if it was third and short yardage, like 3rd and 3 or less. Didn't attempt a single run. Now, they did improve the offensive line a little bit this year with free agents. That may change things, but from what we saw last year, they're one-dimensional. Now, I would go back to what Keds is saying. I think it's how you travel. Granted, both teams do travel, but it's how you travel. The Raiders, when they played us in London a few years ago, they punched us in the nose and put us underwater. And if we can just travel better as a team, I think that has more to do with getting a win than necessarily what's on paper. I'm calling this a W.
I'm gonna call it a W too, man, and not because I think I'm not like Chris in I think Chris is right, man. I think he's Trevor Lawrence stands a good chance to have an ascension. But I tell you what, man, I've seen a quarterback sometimes that played lights out, and sometimes I've seen a quarterback that played like he didn't know where the hell he was at. Making huge mistakes. I mean, his roller coaster is up and down, and trying to find a medium as to where he might fall from week to week. Man, I think he's never hit the consistency level that he should have by this point. And that's where I give us an advantage. I think we can trick bag this kid. We really can if we got the right defensive plan together and we can put the right zone blitzes. I would say that would be the word to circle as far as this matchup goes. And so if you can trick him, fool him, make him think something's there and something isn't, and put a player in position where he thought there was a hole. And I'm talking defensive terminology right now, and it's basically the art of deception. And so it depends on how they call this game. I think that they can attack Trevor Lawrence not only in the front 4 and the front 7, but they can put guys back in coverage and drop them back into zones and really muddy it up for his throwing windows. And I think you can get Trevor Lawrence there. And so if they take that mindset to the game, I think we have a distinct advantage over him because I do. Now their defense now, let me just say this right out here in the open, man. That defensive front 7, the front 4 at least, can get after the quarterback. And so let's just say I don't think this is going to be a rout. I think if we get this thing, the defense gives us the ball back one more times than the Jaguars, and that helps us get the win. But I do call this a win for the Bears.
I think one thing, and J2K mentioned it, that their wide receiver core has been upgraded. They've got a really good
Yes.
wide receiver core.
Yeah, man.
I mean, with Gabe, they've added Gabe Davis and DuVernay, like I said, Christian Kirk, who I didn't mention, and then you add a Brian Thomas Jr. to that. Fortunately for us, that strength goes directly against one of our strengths, which is the secondary. So the thing that concerns me is whether or not, and J2K mentioned that their rush game wasn't that good. Travis Etienne did rush for 1,000 yards, but he only averaged 3.8 yards a carry. So we've got to keep him there. If we can keep him under 4 yards, we might be able to win this game. But
Make him one-dimensional versus our secondary.
yeah,
I'll take that. I'll take that bet every day.
and we're going to have to pressure. We're going to have to put pressure on him because even with as good as our secondary is, if you let him sit back there, he'll find some open people. So
True.
I guess that's a asterisk on my L. It's an L, but it could be a win.
And then also add into this, knowing that you have a bye week after this game, don't you think that the Bears will be that more fired up? Like put everything you've got into this game, leave nothing, leave everything on the field, take nothing home, like fight these guys tooth and nail. We've got a bye week to get healthy. We got a bye week to figure stuff out. Like, go get them. Don't you think that will have an effect?
Well, I'm gonna hit you with a couple different things with this game. First of all, I think Sunshine is gonna have a decent game. I refer to every time I look at Trevor Lawrence, I just think of Remember the Titans, and that's Sunshine.
I was
You
like,
know,
what the fuck is this now?
I think of Todd Marinovich with that hair.
I think it's Sunshine, man. Or Remember the Titans. I think this is going to become this game here is going to be a battle of the trenches game. Their defensive front versus our offensive line, and vice versa. Um, I think it's going to really come down to who has the best running game this particular game, because our secondary is going to be matched up against their receivers, which is going to be some stiff competition. And I really think it's going to come down to who gets the most pressure on the quarterback, on the opposing quarterback, to make his feet a little happy to where he doesn't get comfortable. But and on this one, as much as I want to give us a W, I just think because we haven't traveled as often as they have, and I think they're a little more accustomed to traveling, I'm gonna, by a small margin, I'm gonna give Jacksonville a W on this one. We'll take a L on this one.
So what say you guys in the chat? I'm gonna give this one a W. Bishop's giving it an L. I think kids, I don't want to misappropriate what you said. Now
I give it an L as well.
You giving it an L. Chris?
I was an L with an asterisk. Could be a win. Or a tie.
I'm in the minority, man. What say you?
I'm with you, Nomad. It's a W for me.
Okay. All right. So we're getting W's in the chat. We're getting some L's. More W's and L's.
I will tell you this: NFL Network predicted this as a W for the Jaguars.
Yeah. What do they know?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Styles make fights, man, and I think Trevor Lawrence might be a little bit overrated, man. I think there's ways you can get him in the trick bag and zone blitz concepts, cloud up those passing lanes, and make him think things are there and give you a turnover advantage, as I was talking about previously. And so that's real defensive jargon shit that I'm talking. But you know what I mean? I think the Bears have the talent and the coaches to give that necessary opposition to Trevor Lawrence and give him looks that he's not prepared for. I do like our chances in this game, and I stick with the W, man. But let's get on down here to the bye week, skip, and get down to the Commanders, another rookie quarterback. And let's start with you, kids. Give me your reasons Give me your take on this matchup right here.
I'd love to call this one a tie. You know what I mean? Like this is going to be this is one of my favorite matchups of the season. A lot of good things happening in Washington, a lot of better things happening in Chicago. Realistically, I call this a W for Chicago, based mostly on the fact that we have Montez Sweat and they don't. I think everything else kind of looks very similar. They've got a solid wide receivers core. They're going to have a harder time matching up with our wide receiver core. I think the Bears pull this one out relatively easily, but I think it'll be a really good football game across the board.
Hey, real quick, let me address Don Burr. He's saying Nomad. Don Burr, it's my guy, man. I'm about to slap the hell out you for a minute, but he says Nomad. So Trevor Lawrence is overrated, but you don't know what Caleb is. And he's saying laughing, ain't played a down. Man, you know what, Don? See, this is when I give you credit, man, because everybody bullshits with Don. He talks shit to everybody, and everybody talks shit to Don. But sometimes he throws his football understanding out there, and I relate to some of the stuff that he says, and it's the truth. We are all sticking our necks out here with these wins and losses, not knowing what the hell Caleb Williams is going to be. We're just going to give him the benefit of the doubt and hope that he's put in this infrastructure in a way that can lend to some W's. He can fast track himself to some success early, man. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence that much, to be quite frank with you. I know it's kind of making you upset because we've been kicking y'all's ass. The one that y'all got away with last year, you shouldn't have. I know you kind of nervous and shit because I wouldn't want to play the Bears with this team either, man. So I know it's all nervous energy, Don. Don, I love you, but we're gonna kick y'all ass again, man. So just get ready to deal with it, man.
Well, it gets worse because we beat them last year with Justin Fields. Potentially and allegedly, the kid we drafted might be better than the kid we had last year. So let's see if that materializes. I don't know.
Well,
if it does, go ahead. Sorry, bro.
Speaking of the kid, week 8, Caleb goes home. This is what we thought was going to happen in a different sense all off season.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually is going home. I think he's going to get welcome from the Washington home crowd. And I think then he's probably going to win the game. We're going to win the game.
I totally forgot he was coming home, man. He's going to ball out at home.
I think Chris stole
really
it from me.
No, I didn't. I was just in front of you. I thought Kansas was going to go there. I mean, it was obvious, but
my bad.
That's okay, man. What are you drinking in that mason jar, man? It looks like
right. I want to know too.
Good stuff.
What
good
is
stuff.
Swamp water? That's some swamp
Tito's today, man. A little Tito's today.
Well, anyway, yeah, this is
that hat is tilting more and more.
Yeah, it's sliding off to the side. But Washington's in a rebuild mode. I mean, they're trying to find out who they are. New coach, new owner. They may have to suit up Magic and put him out on the end.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So I think this is a game we win. They got a rookie quarterback too, don't they? That's right. It's going to be 1 versus 2.
Correct.
One versus 2. So that adds intrigue to the matchup. So
it does.
You know what? I don't know. Is that game? That game's not on Monday night. It should be.
No, but
it should be a Monday night game.
Chris,
it should be a Monday night game.
I'm finna lead. I was finna lead into that. I was gonna say the first thing first. I expect the time to be changed on this game. First and foremost, because of the matchup, especially depending on how the early part of the season works out.
The standings are, you're right. If the standings are intriguing, they're not going to change it based on just the matchup because they knew what the matchup was already. So I'd like to see them move the game. That'd be a good primetime game, but
yes,
we'll see what happens. We jumped all over J2K. J2K.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are good. No,
the rest of the show is yours, man. We'll shut up.
No, you guys are all good. You guys are just nailing all the points. If anything, my biggest point, I loved their offseason. They got Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz, Tyler Biadasz at center. Yeah. They signed Dorius Armstrong, Dante Flower, Fowler, Bobby Wagner, Jeremy Chin, and then they drafted Jaden Daniels,
Yeah.
Luke McCaffrey, Ben Sinnott, Brandon Coleman, Jazir Newton. I'm gonna mess up this guy's name. The cornerback from Michigan, the nickelback, Mike, starts with an S, and then they got your boy Nomad, Dominique Hampton. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, they did get
I
Dominic
see,
Hampton.
and now this is game 8. So now we're starting to look. This is a midway through the season where teams are either gelling or they're not. I see a lot of good pieces with the Commanders, and it's just a question of how much they gel. I would like to say that this is a W for us, but if I'm watching the season progress and Washington looks like they're playing pretty well, I would revisit my prediction.
I'll say this: if Jaden Daniels beats Caleb Williams, I think that's going to be problematic.
Oh,
if
yeah.
he, if
Fire everyone
oh man,
immediately.
can you imagine what Chicago fans are going to do?
rid
Ryan
of
Pauls,
Flus.
we hate you.
Get rid of
Fire
Flus.
everyone
Yeah, fire
immediately.
everyone.
Lord,
mean,
that could be a shit show, man.
That could be a show for sure, man. If that kid comes out, throws 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Caleb doesn't, and we lose.
They just announced it here on ESPN. Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels meet each other.
Of course they did.
On
Is
October
that a
27th.
primetime game, man?
No,
Not
it's
now. Not
no,
yet.
Not right now. Yeah, they've got my office bug, man. I'm certain.
I think that it needs to be a flex game to get changed.
I don't think
I don't think you can change a game unless it's pre-scheduled as a flex game.
No, they can flex out of it.
I just man, look, this anytime I see little window dressing outside of actual football games sometimes, and sometimes it's as simple as this: when your head coach is gone, when you're flipping head coaches, and you're bringing in new systems, that doesn't bode well. But to J2K's point, most teams, whether you're in a new system or not, you start to see who they are around this time of the year. And so teams are starting to find that flow, getting rhythm. And so whatever inconsistencies, whatever problem, I mean, you start to figure out what you need to do by this time of the year. And so you're starting to make adjustments, whether or not it was like that year, Flus, the first year with Flus and Justin, when they figured out something at halfway during the season, like this ain't working. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's correct some stuff and let's get into something that actually works for this quarterback. And, you start to see shit like that starting to take effect. But anytime, I'll always point this out to people, anytime there's a flip in regime, head coaches, and different systems are being brought in, we don't know what the actual Washington Commanders are going to look like. And so it's going to take time. And so I'm giving the Bears, not because they're less talented than us, I'm giving the Bears the W because we have at least a defensive structure in place that is more consistent than what they have going on. I don't know what the Commanders are going to look like. And another thing is, you don't get better losing Montez Sweat and Chase Young. You just, that's going to be hard to recover from. I don't give a damn who you are. I'm giving the Bears I'm going to say it's an easy win in this game.
You know what, no man, I would agree with you. The only where I'm going to disagree is that although they lost Montez and they lost Chase Young, they still added some good veteran pieces to the defensive side of the football. And both teams are going into new systems, new offenses. The difference, but the primary difference is with Washington, you have a new head coach and he's coming in with his quarterback as well. So,
I don't know that the defense is going to be the same in Washington.
I actually think the defense is going to be improved with having Dan Quinn as the head coach versus what they had before.
You can't improve losing that kind of talent.
Well,
you can,
but you adding a Bobby Wagner, and you adding some other pieces. I mean, the way that defense is, the
you
way
guys got to be smoking something, man. You don't lose that kind of talent, man.
but you
Well,
got to
and I would
understand
say
something.
Bobby Wagner, and he mentioned
I
Dante Fowler too. Those are players that are way past their prime. Still good players.
past their prime, absolutely. But the type of defense that Dan Quinn plays, they're going to do what he needs them to do. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're going to burn the doors off. They're going to be a top 10 defense, but I do believe that defensively they're going to be improved based off of their production from last year, simply because of schematics, if nothing else.
Well, and the interior of their defensive line
They're still going
is
to
good.
win.
I mean, still got Jonathan Allen. They've got Deron Payne. They brought in Johnny Newton. Um, they've got
And he
they
got a
can get the
surgery.
push
He just had a
inside.
surgery, man.
I'm sorry.
He's got a surgery going on.
Who does?
Johnny Newton. And that's
Yeah, but
one of the
but
things I was going to bring to you. That's why draft stock's good.
I know, but he's supposed to be ready for training camp. Is
Okay.
what I've heard. So I don't expect him to have a great impact, but he's a good player. And you add him to those guys he can learn from. I like KJ Henry. I mean, I liked him at Clemson. And they do have Fowler. Cleveland Farrell never did anything for me, but and they added Dorrance Armstrong, guy we looked at real heavily. If he can stay healthy, that defensive line could be good.
Just go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was going to say, do you think their defensive line is better than ours, man for man?
Hell no.
No.
Really?
No, man. Hell no.
No, not at all.
Okay. Sweat's the best edge on the field. Who's the second best?
Well, it depends on what we end up with by the time season one comes up.
Well, I'm talking about right now. I know. I'd love to have Trey Hendrickson, but
We'll see. We'll see about that. But I just don't think. I think that if there's ever a team that you would circle for, big letdown season based on regime change and different shit like that going on, man. And I see stuff like that. I think Ron Rivera was a hell of a coach. I think he just lost the team for whatever reason towards the end of that his regime. I don't know what happened, but I think it's going to be trouble in Washington unless they get off to an early start, and I don't see that. I think they lost too much talent. They may lose Jonathan Allen before the season begins or sometime during the trade deadline, and it's just not. I don't feel good about what they're doing in Washington yet. Not yet, man. I just don't. I love the quarterback, but I just don't feel good about where they're going. I don't have a good vibe about what's going on in Washington, but we shall see. I'm calling that a W. So let's go to Arizona, and I'm not going to take any meat off the bone before I let you guys go, kids. Let you guys take off, and I'll finish it up.
I don't know. I feel like we lose this game too. J2K, I'm gonna throw this kind of down to you because I know Arizona had a spectacular draft, and you probably remember what actually happened during the draft. But I think they improved heavily. And if the beginning of their season proves what I think they did, I think they're a definite challenge in the NFC. What do you think, J2K?
Wait a minute. We're talking about Arizona. My bad.
Yeah, Arizona.
Yeah. Arizona, drafted Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey Benson.
They killed the draft, man.
Yeah. Tip Raymond, Isaiah Adams, who I thought was underrated offensive guard, Christian Jones, underrated offensive tackle. They really rebuilt their defensive tackles, but not with stars. So they got Justin Jones and Balil Nichols and Carice Tonga, which that's a pretty good rotational.
Our old Bears line. Yeah, they got our old
right.
Bears.
All Bears. The biggest issue with the Cardinals is that their pass rush. They don't have much of a pass rush. They drafted BJ Ojulari last year, who I really liked, but there is a lot of growth that kid needed to go through, and he had a rough rookie season. So next year is a question mark. They did rebuild their secondary in the draft by getting Max Melton and Elijah Jones and Darian Taylor Demerson. Those are all three guys I liked as DBs coming out. They did sign Jonah Williams at offensive tackle, which there's question marks between Paris Johnson and him, who's right, who's left. Either way, they've got good offensive tackles. And then they signed Evan Brown, the offensive center from Seattle, who I think he's a good stopgap, average starter, but a good fit to that offensive line. And then also Michael Wilson, the wide receiver who they drafted a year ago, he had a pretty good rookie year.
He's actually good.
He was quite a steal for them. And so, I've got a lot of question marks overall with the Cardinals gelling as a team because there's so many new faces that have come in and out the last 2 years. But at this point of the year, you never know. This team could be hot.
Well, I would say this, man. I think I give the Bears advantage in every aspect of it, and I want to give the Cardinals the advantage for at quarterback, but I cannot give them. I can give them an advantage at quarterback,
Yeah,
but
you
I
can.
can. But this is where I'm 50-50 about it because I do think that they don't have a pass rush. I think J2K is exactly correct on this point. They don't have a pass rush, and that was kind of made clear when we played them last year. They couldn't get after the quarterback whatsoever, and we got what we wanted against that team, kind of. And I don't think Caleb Williams is the kind of guy that you want to leave back there and give him time to find guys open. And we got the kind of receivers to really exploit a team like that. And so if you ever wanted to give Caleb Williams, a rookie quarterback, an advantage over a third, fourth year quarterback, this would be one of those situations. And so I think the fact that they can't get after Caleb very well, if they can get it blocked up like they did last year, I think Caleb is the kind of quarterback that can pick those motherfuckers apart. Quite plain and simple, man. And I give the Bears the advantage in every other aspect of the game. And so I think this is a win. I think this is, I think by this time of the year, they're going to be questioning some shit in Arizona. And I think unless they get some kind of pass rusher at the trade deadline or something, I don't see them being able to present a serious problem to the Bears. I really don't.
I think they're building. I love their draft. You guys, Trey Benson, that was my guy, and to get him, Marvin Harrison Jr., Max Melton, as a DB, who's one of them Rutgers boys, and they did pick up Darius Robinson, so it's going to take him a while to get his feet, but I think the Bears win this game, but this team's going to be good down the road.
In a fantasy projection, this might be the number one scoring offense in fantasy just because they're playing from behind and they're just throwing the ball all over the field nonstop. Kyler Murray is running around like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah, could getting killed too.
Getting killed. Yeah, but it's just no pass rush, and you've got these weapons on offense. I mean, it's go time.
I'm getting W's in the chat, man. I'm getting W's in the chat right now.
I'll give it a W.
It's a W for me too.
Yeah. I don't think this is a matchup made for Arizona. I think we have their number, man. I don't think too much of Arizona, but they can prove me wrong. But J2K made another nugget of a point talking about playing from behind and how they can put up some hella fantasy numbers, man. I can see that. Absolutely see that. But let's get to the New England game. And let me just stop right there and pass it to kids, man. See what you guys. I'm constantly taking meat off the bone. I'm trying to stop doing that and let you guys go first.
This one, the battle of the two of the top quarterbacks in this draft class, and in the end, real easy. I think the Bears simply win because they across the board have better talent than the Patriots do at this present time. Patriots are really knee deep in a rebuild. I think at this point in the season, we'll really we'll already have had a good understanding of what that means. I think the Bears easily trounce the New England Patriots straight up.
Listen, by week 10, Joe Milton probably will be your starter.
Someone already came out. I'm not sure who it was, whether
It
the
was the
head
head
coach or
coach.
GM, but no, someone came out and said Drake May, after the rookie minicamp, Drake May has a lot to work on.
It was their head
Already.
coach. It was
Was
their
the head
head
coach?
coach. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Mayo, man. Yeah, he said
He could be. He could.
and the
could
way
be.
he said it, man, it was like to the point where you like, oh my God, did we really draft this guy at number 3?
Oops.
And then they was talking about his throwing motion throughout the entire mini camp, and it's like they said it looked like he's throwing in slow motion. So, look, man, it ain't much to talk about with this particular game, other than the fact that the Bears is going to win that one, and we're playing at home, so that's even more enticing for a win. But I'm with you. I think I'm with Chris. Joe Milton might be the doggone starting quarterback by then, So,
But they're going to
No, I
run a
don't
lot
know.
this game. You're going to see a lot of Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
They're going to have to, I think, with their quarterbacks being. They're going to try to protect whoever's there. Bears W. This is easy.
Hey, Gibson
Yeah, and
Gibson them gonna be like, man, hey man, I'm tired of carrying this. Quit giving me the goddamn ball, man. Let this motherfucker throw the damn ball sometime, man. Y'all killing me out here, man. I can't run the ball 40 times.
Yeah, and
that'll be Ramondre. He'll be doing the Gibson will be doing the short, quick pickup. That James White role. He's a real good
Oh man, loved him
James
in
White
Memphis. Loved him in Memphis and loved Stevenson in Oklahoma. They were both
They're good backs.
I was high on them. I was high on those guys when they came out. Go ahead, J2K.
Yeah, and as much as I really like Gibson, they have 5 brand new wide receivers in that room. Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, Kendrick Bourne, KJ Osborne, and Jalen Rieger. And they have 2 rookie quarterbacks. What are they going to do with that? My guess is Jacoby Brissett is going to take that starting job.
He's the starter.
Yeah.
That's their best change.
Drake May?
That's their best.
Yeah.
He provides them their best
bro.
opportunity. If they don't start, let me tell you something. I think New England is they just lost the what people widely regard as the best coach ever. He's the cheapest ass coach ever, in my opinion, but that's from a football player standpoint, knowing people that played on your goddamn team. I know what kind of coach you are, Belichick, but that's a whole other conversation. And I think anytime, I'm going to go back to this one more time, anytime you lose a certain caliber of coach and expect a team to perform at a certain level with a rookie quarterback, I think that coach has such a presence on this team. I think this is a disaster waiting to happen, man. I think they may be in a worse situation than even Washington is, to be honest with you, man. But I digress. I'll fall back for a second and let some other guys speak.
So I'm just going to touch on where you were. If there's a quarterback competition going on in New England right now, all is lost as far as they're concerned. You don't draft a quarterback in the top 10 and then throw him up by way of competition. Hopefully somebody's come out and said, hey, look, Jacoby Brissett's our guy, and we're sitting the other young man, and you need to do that like yesterday, because you don't want the kid to lose out to Jacoby Brissett. That's not a good look. It's a very bad look, and potentially it's you wasted a draft pick.
I think they plan to set him, though. They plan to set him. I don't think they plan to throw him.
Is that the plan? That's the plan?
I think that was the plan.
I hope so.
Jacoby Brissett could be the only goddamn thing stopping Gerard Mayo from getting run out of there. If that thing ends up in his hands, I think he gives them the best opportunity. Otherwise, Gerard Mayo may have this head coaching job maybe a half a season, something like that. Maybe one season at the most. If things go the way I can foresee this shit going, I think Jacoby Brissett is the only thing that can get in between him and losing a damn job, man. I think this can go real, real bad.
Remember the end of "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker" when they said every good hero needs theme music. In this situation, every fallen dynasty needs a scapegoat, and that scapegoat is Gerard Mayo.
Shoo. Me and Chris talked about this on a few times, quite in depth, man. And Boston is let's leave that there, man. But
Don't like them. I
yeah,
don't like the Bruins.
there's
I don't
some
like the
real.
marathon either.
Me neither. I'm so with you. So me and Chrissy eye to eye on that one. I don't know if I must
Not a
be
big
old.
fan
Maybe
of
that's
baked beans either.
I think this is about as easy a
Oh,
win as you can imagine for the Bears. Not because we have. I mean, I just think this is a win for the Bears. This period, they're in trouble when they come up in here. But here we go to here's where it gets interesting.
But before we do that, we probably
Best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff and Nomad at night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
That's right, you guys, man. I don't know how many likes there are in the show, man, but just do us a favor. Hit the like button for us because it definitely helps us tell the algorithm that we have good content and you like it. But also do us a favor and let us know when you after you do it. Let us know who did it in the chat. Share the live stream. I don't say that enough time, but man, please, people share the live stream to any social media platform that you choose. But when you do it, just let us know that you did it so we can appreciate you, man. And if you're new to the channel, and if you just got here and you're just now figuring out who we are, welcome to the family, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we can definitely use the subscription, man. We're trying to hurry up and get to 2,000, and we're about, I'd say, less than 300 away from that. And I think we can do that in a pretty quick clip if we can get you guys' support, man. I think we can make 2,000 with no problem. But I digress. Let's get to the Green Bay Packers, man. I'm just not going to say anything off the top and hand it off to the Canuck and see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know what to say here. So I'm going to start with the fact that by default I split this division across the board just by default. It's what I do every season. In this scenario, I need to see what the rest of the North looks like by way of schedule. I haven't seen Green Bay's schedule yet. It could be an absolute nightmare up to this point, and if that's the case, they may be reeling.
They got the
Really
Eagles'
bad.
first game, kids.
Thank you. Just to start things out, they could be reeling at this point in the season. This may be a bit of a wake-up call for them. Remember what we said earlier on about the Houston Texans. This is year 2. The NFL has seen Jordan Love. Now they've got an idea as to who he is and what he's about. Very much the same as we were saying about CJ Stroud. So highly possible at this point in the season, we may have a good understanding of how we need to play and what needs to be done to battle these Green Bay Packers. To be frank here, I have no idea if we win this game. I'm going to give it the homer win because I'm a Chicago Bears fan. But we're going to lose at least one of these games against the Packers. I'm hoping it's not this one.
I'm not going to even claim that because I really think, give credence to what you said earlier, man. I mean, Jordan Love could hit some type of a wall this year. It's just like we talked about Stroud. I mean, for all intents and purposes, this is his sophomore year. So people are going to figure him out. I expect him to hit a little bit of a wall this year. Not saying he's not a good quarterback, but I don't see. I mean, as much as everybody wanted to crown him as the third jewel in the Packers triumphant quarterback crown, I don't know that he's there yet. So I think the Bears are going to win this game, and I think this is where we start taking the North. And I don't know if we'll never give it back, but I think we're going to start holding on to it a little bit tighter. So I think we win this game, and I think we do it handily.
Well, I'd love to have you guys' optimism at this point. The biggest key for me right here is that the front end of this schedule, the first 10 weeks, I think is relatively easy. And now we're hitting the meat, the hardest part of our schedule. And my concern is that Caleb and the team and the coaches, we've beat some bad teams. And suddenly we face Green Bay and we hit a wall. And the reality of what divisional games are comes crashing down on Caleb. And this starts becoming the time where we've got a really tough schedule at this point. And you start looking at Caleb and going, how do you respond to a loss, a beatdown, a rivalry that you want to win? I think we could win the last game of the season versus Green Bay, but I think this game, I think it's just going to be too much for a young team.
Well, I'm going to chime in because while you guys were talking, I was doing my research. Our schedules are almost identical in terms of teams we play. They almost mirror each other identically up to the game that we play Green Bay. The only difference is Green Bay plays the Vikings as a conference game before they get to us. So we could very easily have identical schedules, and this be that game that deem who takes control of um, the North. Because I say that because I think Detroit's going to Detroit. Sorry, Don Burr, but I think Detroit's going to Detroit a little bit. I know their schedule's a little tougher, and I think at that point we could easily be tied for first, if not sitting it tied for second in the division. I have us winning this game because we're at home. I think what's going to end up happening with this particular with our conference, each team is going to have to definitely defend home field, and you're going to have to give way to one either Green Bay or Detroit between us, that we give up at least one of those games on the road to the opposing team.
Does this
Uh,
strike anybody else as odd that we play 6 of our 8 last games are division opponents? We don't play a division opponent until week 11. Does that strike
That's,
anybody else as odd?
yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy
Very
because like I think we can almost get into the playoffs. Like
yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Based on
Before we
that,
really even have to touch on the division, it's potential here, guys. And Keith, just to touch on what you were saying, they also see the Lions before they play us. So Lions
yeah,
and the
right.
Vikings.
By the way, you spoke Lions, and it was hilarious until we got in y'all's ass. It was real funny until we
It'll
got
be
in
even funnier this year. It'll
y'all.
be jokes all season long
It was
for us.
funny until we
It'll be a
got
lot.
it was funny till we got in that ass, wasn't it? That's all I'm gonna say
Oh yeah.
about that. But
It'll be even funnier in 2024. All sorts of jokes in Detroit.
mhm. So keep that. Was that your final take on it, man, or do you got something else here, man?
My final take on it is that we're gonna win that game. We're gonna beat Green Bay at home. We will win this game. And
Okay.
and,
Boom.
I'm gonna go on the record to say at that point we'll probably, if not tie for first, we'll be in first, because I think Detroit is gonna be 0-2 in the division by that time.
So here's I got a lot of question marks for this game, and it more or less is revolving around flus. I feel good that they don't have Aaron Jones. I know they have my I can't believe they got my favorite running back, man, dude.
Yeah, they
Josh
got him.
Jacobs. But
They got him.
he presents another kind of problem that's a little bit different than the one Aaron Jones brought to the table, man. This Aaron Jones is like a knife. He's like a knife that finds those little creases, and the acceleration through them really gives defenses that guy that can get from 0 to 10 as fast as he can is a serious problem for defenses, man. But I do love Josh Jacobs. I just think he's a different kind of problem than Aaron Jones is. I think him not being there, Aaron Jones not being there, is going to help us in certain ways, especially in that screen game, the way he accelerates and follows those blocks. Man, he was just such a problem the whole time
here's
he's been in Green Bay.
here. Let me say this, Nomad. Aaron Jones was a problem, and he was a problem for one reason: Matt LaFleur, and that's who scares me at Green Bay more than Jordan Love or anybody else as the
He
coach.
should.
The
Say
dude
it
is.
again, man.
I said the Aaron Jones was who Aaron Jones was because of Matt LaFleur. Not saying he wasn't talented, but that's who scares me at Green Bay is Matt LaFleur. It's not the quarterback or anybody else. That dude knows how to coach an offense. So, everything I said about them hitting the wall could be crazy. I mean, he's shown that he knows how to use his players. So,
You know what? You know why Don is here with all this nervous energy,
listen,
man.
look.
I
This is
told you that. Rolling.
Well, I told you, boy, we was gonna knock y'all's ass up, man. Hey, we gonna get to Detroit here in a minute. Hang tight. We gonna get y'all. We gonna be eating live for Thanksgiving dinner, but we gonna get there in just a second. Hey, man, listen, Green Bay. Listen, my big question mark is Flus. And by this point, it's gonna be Flus is either gonna be calling those plays full time or he's passed that thing over to Eric Washington by this point. And, to me, I think he, as a play caller, was more of a problem against Green Bay and Detroit at times than anything else, man, being conservative. And these are the games, talking about the Green Bay games, the Detroit games, and some of those games like that I thought Flus ended up being the Achilles heel of the whole scheme, the team, I mean. And I think if he plays conservative, plays in too many zone concepts, and doesn't rush this guy and put one man-to-man, match up in man-to-man a little bit more and not give this guy windows to throw the ball and get off to early rhythm, I think he'll do exactly what the fuck he just did to us last year. And so it's about how you scheme up the defense against him. You can't go doing the shit you did last year and being conservative. And that cost us against Green Bay. And I'm just giving you the honest to God truth. If Matt Eberflus does not call a more aggressive game against this dude, they'll do the same shit to us again and dice us the fuck up. But they've got to be aggressive against this cat and not play so many zone concepts. This guy's figured that out, talking about Jordan Love. And I think we give ourselves the best chance. Just match up and come after this cat and make him win the game away from the pocket, make him throw off balance. Just get him, flush him out, and make him throw off scheduled stuff. So I think Matt Eberflus is the problem here. But I'm gonna say, since it's at home, I'm gonna give us the win here. But I hope to God Matt Eberflus is a different coach by then, or he's passed on the responsibilities to somebody else.
I thought you were just going to say, or he's passed on.
Oh,
dang, that's a little bit harsh.
That's cold-blooded.
That conservatism, man. That conservatism, him being a conservative coach, has cost us multiple games. I think 3 or 4 of them last year. And so that's the main problem. But I think Eric Washington being in the room with him and them looking at the film from last year, you've got to have identified that by this point. You can't go into that game being conservative like you did last year. So anybody got anything to that before we move on?
Nope.
All right. Let's get to Minnesota. Let me pass it on to kids, man, before I get going.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna call this one an easy W too. Like, these guys are basically rebuilding. There's nice things over there. At this point in the season, again, we are in the meat of it. Things are a little bit tougher. I'm not sure where Minnesota is going to be in their season by way of wins or losses. Hard to say. They're grooming a new quarterback over there, but they do have the wide receiver core to really make that an easy process. I think the kid is good. I think they'll have a pretty decent season. I just don't see them vying very well in this super tough division. So pretty easy win for the Bears, in my opinion. I'll keep it short and sweet.
I'm not so sure how good the kid is. I think Darnold will start out the season. I think that's the plan. But
if that's the plan, that's not a good plan.
McCarthy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I I look at the Minnesota's roster and nothing scared. I mean, the guy that scared me plays in Houston now. They had a not great draft. I mean, they got Dallas Turner, but I'm not sure how effective he'll be. Um, yeah, I wasn't impressed with your draft at all. I think everybody in the North stands on top of Vikings this year. I think they got a ways to go. They did get. I'll tell you who they got is a good player, and that's Andrew Van Ginkel. I love that guy at Miami. I don't know why Miami let him go, and Christian Wilkins.
The scrolls, man, we would have to put the scrolls. We have to find some kind of role on the Nomad Network with the scrolls. He called him JJ McHandoff.
That's who he's going to be. Be a lot of Gaskins and Aaron Jones. Yeah, we win this game. That's my prediction.
Go ahead.
You know, yeah, what I'm thinking though is this is kind of a point in our schedule where I think that we're hitting some good teams, some tough matchups, and for me, Minnesota, it's not so much about the players on paper; it's about the offensive and defensive coordinators. I really think that they are both very, very good. I think Brian Flores is an exceptional defensive coordinator, and I think he will out scheme us in this game. Now, I have us beating Minnesota the next time around because once we saw him the first time, we understand how to beat him, and we get that W on the back end. But this is more intuitive for me, is I think that this is the point in the schedule where we take a dip. We're calling a lot of W's, you guys. Like how many L's have you guys listed on the schedule so far? Like 4?
I got one. Let me see, one.
I purposely didn't count.
Right?
I've been counting. I got 4.
3.
Right.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
we're
4.
talking about a rookie quarterback starting game 1 in Caleb Williams. New offensive coordinator in Waldron. We're still figuring out who our other defensive end is. So I don't want to be pessimistic, but I think this is the
Really?
point of our schedule that we do hit a wall.
Against the Vikings? I mean,
Yes.
you mentioned. Well, you said Brian Flores. I agree, man. Dude's brilliant.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this defense and I'm thinking, you lost Daniil Hunter, you lost your other edge. I mean, you got to have the people. Your brilliance alone is not going to scare the quarterback. You got to have some parts there. And I don't look at their defensive line at this point. Even like I said, they added Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner. I mean,
Chris, I felt that way last year. I felt that Minnesota lost a lot of good pieces the year before, and they still had a very good defense.
they had Daniil Hunter, and that was the guy that gave us fits.
Sure, but they also, 3 years ago where they have Kendricks. I mean, for a while, Minnesota had a very good
Sure.
defense. And they hit the cap. They had to let older guys go, insert Brian Flores, and instantly that defense is back to being very good. I think he's very good at scheming guys. And I think that he knows how to scheme against young quarterbacks very well. I think we get them in the end. And I think what you're saying absolutely proves right, but in the second game we face.
Yeah. I think, now I'm gonna give Brian Flores all the credit in the world, man, because he is a brilliant defensive mind. The fact that they added Dallas Turner, they lost Daniil Hunter, and they lost what's his name?
Yeah. What's his name? I couldn't think of what's his name either.
The other defensive end, man, I can't think of his name. He came over. They lost 2 defensive ends during the free agency period, man. But I do think this guy has a special talent.
Houston?
No. He's got dread.
He ended up at Carolina, I believe.
DJ Woonan.
Wanham.
Yeah, DJ Wanham.
I just think this guy has a special talent for keeping defenses off balance. But it's a it pays big when you win, but you lose big when you lose. You know what I mean? It's a gamble when you blitz that much, and you're leaving your secondary vulnerable the way he does. Um, I believe he's gonna he offers a special kind of problem for any quarterback. And Caleb being a rookie, I think we can't downplay that. I think we can't. I think we fool ourselves into believing that he won't be effective against this rookie. You know, he's going to get after this cat and make him throw the ball in places and hope that he makes mistakes. How Caleb responds to it is another guess. You know, but I do think we have the advantage on the defensive side of the ball. I told you guys at the beginning, I'm going to say that multiple times, and this is one of those games where I think we have the advantage. I think we have a steady defense that can take the ball away, and I think we give ourselves opportunities that the Vikings can't match. And I think we win this game by 7 to 14 points. I'm giving this an W.
So there's going to be a below average quarterback on the other side too, either a rookie or Sam
They gonna
Darnold.
start that cat, man.
And that's what.
By week 10, they might. I mean, they might start it by week 10. I mean, they could.
Whether it be week 10, week 15, whenever. I just think offensively, the fact that the quarterback, whether it be Darnold or JJ, it's not going to really matter. This is the one team in our division. I think the Bears win both games.
Yes, I do too.
Against them. Now,
Yeah, I do too.
I believe we beat Minnesota both times, and I'm not taking anything away from Brian Flores. I have all respect for Brian Flores as well as O'Connell in terms of play calling. I just don't think that. I think one, we'll be able to contain Aaron Jones. So I think we can contain their running game and make them one-dimensional, which is going to bode well for us defensively. And I just think offensively, both our running game and our passing game will be clicking. And again, it's a game that we're playing at home. So I think that they're going to be real adamant on protecting home field. So I have us winning this game going into week 13.
Can I ask you guys a question? Just overall at the schedule, we're talking about young quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks. Are we drinking too much of the Caleb Kool-Aid here?
No.
Thinking
Yes.
that
Hold on. Like J2K.
right.
Yes, we are. But here's the flip side to this. And I want you to look at it with this, with these goggles on. I want you to look at this schedule with Justin Fields goggles on. Would your view of this be much different?
No.
Yes, it would be, because look,
Really?
we're talking Justin Fields, I think, is a better quarterback week one, okay, than Caleb Williams. That's because Caleb's a rookie. The ceiling that Caleb has versus Justin is much, much higher. It's astronomically higher, to be honest. But Justin Fields, he still has a ton of NFL experience. And I think we're not giving enough credit to how much rookies struggle, or how much more difficult the game is for a rookie than it is for someone who's played a few seasons in the league.
And I agree with you. And here's the flip side is, if he really struggles, that's likely to happen early into the season, which I find is a little bit weaker than it might have been in other seasons. This gives him the ability to actually grow in the job that he's trying to perform in. So I don't think we're really just drinking Kool-Aid here. I think this schedule is actually a little bit. Let me rephrase. I think this schedule is probably the perfect schedule that a rookie quarterback could walk into with the team set up around him. Things could not fall any better than this, really.
Can I take a quick pause right quick? Hey, Don, don't come crying to me when kids out there in the chat room taking your fucking lunch money. I can't do nothing for you.
Oh, jeez.
That's what that head gonna look like after we catch him on Thanksgiving.
I'm still
to your point, kids. I just think this is where we hit a wall. It's Green Bay, it's Minnesota, it's Detroit, it's San Francisco. Minnesota, Detroit.
You're right.
Right. So this is
Yeah.
the hardest part of the schedule. And if a rookie quarterback's going to struggle, I think this is the point that he does to an extent. Granted, I think we've got 10 games or 9 games getting up to Green Bay that he's got a chance to grow. We're going to run the ball. We're not going to put the game in his hands. But these teams, I think, are going to really pressure Caleb in different ways. Green Bay, I think, will be able to. I think they're a good team, and I think they match up, and they're going to force Caleb to make, a 3rd and 9 first down throw. I think Minnesota is just going to blitz the kid and be confusing.
You know what?
And when we get to Detroit, we'll get to that. But it's go ahead, Bishop.
I hear what you're saying on that, J2K. That's why I was emphasizing the strength of the running game is going to be important versus Green Bay and this Minnesota game. I think because of us, the number of games that we've played and the fact that this is an NFL schedule, they're going to put emphasis on running the ball a little more these first couple games against our division opponents to kind of take a little of the pressure off of the rookie quarterback so that this way he's not just thrust into a situation where he's in a shootout unless we just have to be, but I think against Green Bay and Minnesota, especially being at home, I think more emphasis will be put on the running game. This way, the crowd, to kind of keep the crowd at ease too, because the crowd is going to be wanting to see him really, crank out the ball and throw and spin it. And I think if they're smart, if we get a run, especially I think by that point, I think we would be established as one of the top running teams in the league, and it'll be a little easier for us. And especially against Minnesota, I just think that we'll be able to run the ball on them and not have to won't have to throw the ball as much against them as maybe Green Bay.
Hey, Bishop, I got a question for you.
Sure.
You got a little brother?
No.
Anybody here have a little brother? Nobody? All right.
No, I can't help you with this. All right.
So having little brothers means you typically they get to a certain age, man, you gotta slap them around a little bit to make sure just to remind them sometimes that, hey, man, you my little brother, I love you. Mama pip slap your ass around a little bit, slap box you around, crack you across your head a couple times, just to remind you I'm the big brother now. Don't you ever forget that. And so here we go, spilling into the Detroit Lions Thanksgiving Day conversation, Don Burr. And you got away with one last year you shouldn't have got away with because Flus went to church and stayed too goddamn long and got conservative on y'all. And that was the problem.
No, you did not blame church.
Man, him man went to stay in the church too damn long, man. Hey,
you gonna blame church? Come on, man.
Been in one of those churches where they got those
on Thanksgiving.
Man, dog, he got so conservative, man. He got so conservative. But and the little brother got away with one last year, man. Our little brother got away with one last year, and I think it was a mercy one. I think it was mercy. Every now and again you got to make them feel like they win, and they're trying to wrestle you. All right, man, you got me this time. You can do what you got to do to them, but they got away with one last year, and then the second time around, just in case you thought that was real, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you this time and slam your ass for real. And that's what happened the second time around. And so, Don Burr, we will be eating shaved lion for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm just gonna tell you right now, y'all gonna have a bald head lion in the middle of the field on a platter. We about to get in that ass. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Honestly, this will be one of the better games of the season. Again, I know I think I've said that 3 times now. Texans, Washington in this game. I look forward to this game. I think we eat the Lions lunch all night long, which I can lie about this, but I think it will be a good game across the board. I just don't think I don't think you guys have the firepower for us anymore by way of offense. So Jahmyr Gibbs will have a great game. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to realize that our secondary is monstrous, and so are the rest of that wide receiver course. So I'm ready to go, bro. I don't see your defense doing any major damage to us. I think our defense, especially at this point in the season, I think Ryan Poles will have made a a move if so required. But in any event, I don't think we lose this game. I don't think there's
Mm.
anything we do.
Go ahead, Chris.
Bishop, Chris.
Well, I really didn't even want to comment on this game because Don Burr is in the chat.
But they the
He's
champs,
going
Chris.
crazy.
You gotta give them their
Okay.
flowers, man. They are the
Hear
champs.
the excuses, blah blah blah. We got bigger fish to fry. Yeah, okay. Anyway, this will be a game where Detroit will probably win it because of the day Thanksgiving comes on. They'll have, I'm not going to predict that we'll win this game. I hope we do, and we can win it because I think we just match up great against Detroit. But I'm not going to pick us to win this Detroit game on Thanksgiving because I think that will doom us to not win it if I do. So, yeah, I think we have a better team than Detroit, but I think we match up better with Detroit. I'll say that. And that was evidenced by last year. And you're right, Nomad. Homeboy took the foot off the gas and gave the first one away. So, yeah, but I'll take the L on this one. Just because I don't want the L. And Don Burr, shut up, man. I will ban you.
I think this is going to be a great game, and I do think that we end up losing this game. I can't be such a homer that I just keep picking us to win every game. And keep in mind, like, I'm getting to this point thinking that I think if I got my math right, like 8-3 at this point, and I think that we just lose this game with a last second field goal to Detroit. We're 8-4.
J2K, man. Let me tell you something, man. You watch enough football, and I'm not saying I watch any more football than anybody else. I'm not trying to put myself above anyone. What I'm trying to say is, me and my observation, I notice things. There are little things that people pay attention to, depending on what kind of mind you have. You notice things like I watch sidelines and body language and all that type shit that really gives me and sometimes I feel like I have a unique perspective on football that a lot of people don't. I'm telling you right now, the Detroit Lions, we have their number. We definitely have their number. And I think they know it. I think as long as Jared Goff runs like RoboCop and has cement shoes, I think there's a way to lick these guys. Here's where I think they have a particular advantage. Notice if you go back and watch the Detroit Lions film, notice how they try to stretch the field horizontally on us as many times as they can with somebody like Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is a problem. I'm gonna tell you why. His acceleration on those wide zone runs forces the linebacker to run, and when he runs, he's tired. When he's tired, you're not breaking down correctly, and that guy misses. So when he gets out there on the edges, they have got to close on this guy and stop him from getting momentum and getting upfield. So when he's on those stretch plays, they've got to get him at the line of scrimmage or behind. If he starts getting momentum upfield, he can present a particular problem. And I'm talking real specific X's and O's. Jahmyr Gibbs could be the difference maker in that game. And so I think we match up very well. I think we match up fairly equally, except for the quarterback who has a lot more experience. But I think the quarterback could be their Achilles heel at the same time because he's not very mobile, and that gives he's just a sitting duck for the most part. And I think the Bears know
weighed
that.
down by all that money too this year.
Yeah.
Weighed down by that guaranteed money's gonna be around his neck.
Anybody get where I'm going? I think we match up well, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs could be the X factor in that game. But I'm still giving us the W. I'm still giving us the W at Detroit. I don't give a fuck.
Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a monster in the game. It almost goes without saying. I am going to add on to what you're saying just by saying that I think Dan Campbell's going to be the X factor in this game. I'll leave it there.
Awesome the game, shit.
Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm gonna chime in on this one. I'm going to give Detroit a win on this one, and the reason being, um, Jameer Gibbs is one, but I think the person that nobody's talking about that always seems to hurt us is Amon St. Brown.
He's
And
the
I
one guy
just
I'm not afraid of, and I'll tell you why after. But go.
well, I'm not afraid of him, not at all. But because I'm not afraid of him, I also gonna give my respect to him because one thing that you cannot deny the guy, he gets yards after the catch, man, and he's a nightmare in the slot. So with that being said, um, if Jameer Gibbs is having a good game that game, that's going to open things up from Amron. It's just naturally it's just going to open up things for him, man. And I just think that's a game being in Detroit on Thanksgiving. Um, I give that one. I just give that one to them. You know, like I said, there's going to be the only team I feel in our division that we're gonna win both games is Minnesota. I think we're going to split with both Green Bay and Detroit.
I agree with that. I have them winning this game. I think we lose the next game, but
I think we win at home. I think we win at home against Detroit.
fair. I up the ante with the Amon-Ra St. Brown. I raise you a Kyler Gordon. Kyler Gordon pretty much shut that guy
Touche.
down for the better part last year, and I expect nothing less this season.
Well,
Okay.
it's going to boil down to hitting golf in the mouth. Don Bird just put something
You
up in
got
the
it.
chat. I
You
mean,
got it.
about their
Put it
O
up, Chris.
line, huh?
Put it up. If you see it.
I'm man. You know I don't touch the chat.
Go ahead.
But anyway, he put it in the chat about our O line, their O line being superior. Did you watch the second game last year, Don Burr? Did you see how Mr. Golf reacted from getting hit in the mouth? He gets hit in the mouth, his game goes south.
He doesn't know what to do.
No, that's all you got to do with him. All you got to do is hit him. So if they can hit him, it doesn't matter if it's Thanksgiving or Detroit. The Bears will win the game. But I'm not going to predict that because I don't know what our defensive line, what kind of pressure we got going yet. So because
And
you
one
do have a
last
good offensive line, that's for sure.
J2K, you got anything before we
one last thing for Detroit. This is a very good young football team. There is too much ascension and not enough attrition for this team. These guys are getting better as they're getting older, not worse.
they are now when you look at this on the surface, on its face. Now I'm gonna talk to Don Burr particularly here. And Don, let me tell you something. I'm gonna take my hat off to the Detroit Lions, man. They are the NFC North champions. They hold the mantle, they have the trophy, they are the NFC champs. Period. Point blank. We gotta beat them. We kicked y'all's ass, I think twice. And without Church Flus, I think we would have won it. We would literally would have beat y'all twice. But here's my thing, man. And I do think it comes down to particulars in this matchup. And I do think the one X factor on that team, I'm not going to say that's the only X factor because I think that receiver number 9, I forget his name on Williams. I think he's another factor, and what they do with him in situations can be because the Detroit Lions don't do a whole lot to try to fool you. They'll throw a guy in motion and try to throw the defense off kilter a little bit, but that's just to get guys going in another direction while they run the other direction. Detroit Lions are very predictable. You just got to stop them from running the ball on you. And if you can do that, if you can stop them from running the ball, you pretty much got them in a catch-22. You got them in a catch-22. If you can keep guys like Jameer Gibbs from running the ball on you, you got those guys in a catch-22. I like our chances against Detroit. I think I've seen when it's just like a boxing match for me. It's like I don't care how many times you face a guy. We're a 7-9 team against a team that went to the almost got to the Super Bowl. We on the surface we have no business, playing with these guys. But it's just like the Patriots team back in the day when they ran into Rex Ryan's Jets team or something like that. they always had an answer for those guys. Every fucking time. You ever notice that? The Patriots could have been running roughshod over the entire league, but when they ran into the New York Jets and a Rex Ryan defense, they had fucking problems, did they not? Am I right or wrong? Sometimes it's about the matchup and who has the number to that other team. And I think we have their number. I will not back down away from that. I think we give them a unique challenge. I think Don knows that. That's why he's in here with the nervous energy. He knows it. Anybody want to speak to that?
I would just
No.
say preach, brother, preach.
Yeah, here.
But
Let's. I've had enough of Don Burr lines. Let's flush the toilet.
He's talking about David Montgomery in here. Yeah, he had 120, man. We got to do a better job against him, no doubt about that. But let's get to the San Francisco game. It's a lot of nervous energy around this one. I'm gonna start this one off. I'm gonna give this one an L.
Yeah, short but sweet. I'm right there with you. Right, this is one of the more. This is just as J2K was saying. This season got significantly harder right in and around here, starting at that Green Bay game for the most part. But I think this is a game where that San Francisco defense just eats us alive, and Christian McCaffrey runs the ball right down our throats. I think it's a pretty straightforward situation for the San Francisco 49ers to eat our lunch. Except, again, I haven't seen their schedule. They might be reeling at this point in the season too. Don't get me wrong. Hard to say. Brock Purdy might be, he might be the second coming of Tom Brady. He also falls into that same thing where the world is now seeing who Brock Purdy really
Brady
is.
Quinn.
Is he Brady Quinn? Well said, right? Is he Brady Quinn or is he Tom Brady? We're going to find out this season. So I'm giving the Bears an L here. But
I am going to. This is my upset special. Okay, upset special. We own San Francisco. We beat them 2 years ago. They had a great team. We played them well. I'm going to say we win this game just for the heck of it. Yeah, I'm going to just say it. I'm going to say it. I'm saying it. We win this game.
Hey, the scrolls real quick. Can I get it? Can I shout out the scrolls really quick? The scrolls, if you're going to this game and you get a hold of some coverage, whether it be pictures, whether it be some video, man, feel free to send it to us so we can put it on here. If you want to get involved, you want to get on the show, pregame, postgame, whatever you want to do, but give us some footage, man. We'd be glad to show it on here, man. But go ahead, J2K.
Yeah, I think I love the optimism by Chris, but I will be calling this an L. I think we're 8-5. We're going 8-6. It's a 4-game slide after a great start to the season. I think there's a lot of chatter as to how this team is built. Is Flus the right guy? Is Caleb growing enough?
Caleb's not a rookie by week 14, though.
Well, he's still.
No, he ain't.
He's not a rookie by then. 1958,
either.
that'd have been 4 games into the next season.
It's true, very true. No, I just see this as the slide, and don't worry, you guys. I got some optimism for the back end of the season, so it's not all pessimistic.
I was gonna say, where you hiding that optimism?
It's coming.
This is the season of optimism, man. We all have to. They got to have double-digit wins in May. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Well, I just don't think we're going to be 14-3, even though it sounds
15-2, whatever.
Some people are saying that.
We all need to be crushed by October.
This is so goddamn fun, man.
I'm drinking now. Like,
yeah, drinking the juice now,
man.
I'll turn into arsenic by November.
Unfortunately, man. Unfortunately, on this night, man, against San Francisco in San Francisco, we won't get that W, and it won't be because of anything other than I think it's going to really come down to. That's when I think the wall will kind of come up for Caleb, just a tad bit, but I think this is going to come down to defenses. and I know we have a pretty doggone good defense, but I just think that as far as their weapons with their running game, and the person who I think is going to have an outstanding game against us this particular game will be Debo, if healthy.
Well, okay. How about this, man? This is the way I see this playing out, plain and simple. I know that veteran edge rushers, they see guys on their schedule. They see a rookie quarterback on their schedule and they start licking fingertips. That's like, oh yeah. Well, so but Chris is right. By this time, Caleb is no longer by week 14, he's no longer a rookie, and he should be displaying some signs of, you know, experienced quarterback and taking advantage of opportunities by this point. No question about it. But that's not the way Joey Bosa's going, not Joey Bosa, but Nick Bosa's going to see that. That is not the way he's going to see it. And I believe, who did they get? Leonard Floyd during the offseason?
Yep.
I believe they got Leonard Floyd. And they
God,
both
you could have did better than that.
Huh?
You could have did better than Leonard Floyd. God.
Oh, Leonard Floyd's a dog right now.
Leonard Floyd's he's a mud
Oh,
at this point in his
Chris.
career. Ain't
Dude,
nobody worried about no Leonard Floyd, man. Please.
Chris.
Chris,
You-
Chris came over to Illinois and got hold to some edibles or something. What the hell wrong with Chris?
Chris did call quarterback seventh graders. And he said ain't nobody worried about Leonard
Man,
Floyd.
listen.
Ain't
let
nobody
me
worried
tell you,
about Leonard Floyd, man.
I don't care what week of the season that this game appears, whether it's week 1 or week 14. They're going to be looking at chops trying to get after that rookie. By that time, there's going to be plenty of film out there about the tendencies of the Chicago Bears, and they're going to, this is a well-built team, a well-oiled franchise that I think is going to take a step down in production, and as far as their wins and losses, I think they're going to show some things we haven't seen previously for the San Francisco 49ers. But I do think they'll still have enough at this point to get after Caleb Williams, and we're going to find out, during that game. Caleb Williams, you're going to have to make some plays from the pocket, or you're going to have to run flat out. There's no getting around it. But I call this an L for the Bears right now. That's just my stance on it. But let's trickle into the Monday night game, another Monday night game and it's the Minnesota Vikings again. This is at Minnesota. It's a difficult place to play. It's loud as fuck in there. And let me just give it off to the Canuck and see what he thinks about this game in Minnesota on Monday night.
So in the way that I see this whole season, we're leading up to the big matchup, and we'll get to that next. I see us taking this Monday night challenge against Minnesota and eating their lunch again, and that's 0-2 in the division for Minnesota. At this point, we've now in my tally, we've won against all of the teams in our division once, and this is the second win. So now we're potentially vying for NFC North royalty, right? We're vying for to take that North, like Ryan Poles said, and never give it back. So I'm under the impression that we take the Minnesota Vikings on Monday night, Week 15 for the second time. Who's next?
Chris? Okay.
Just
Chris thinking about it.
No, I was just hold on.
Eating a burger.
No, I wish I had another one. Yeah, we're gonna win this game. Monday night, first Monday night game for Caleb. I think Caleb's settled in by now. We're still a better team than them. Yeah, we're gonna beat Minnesota twice, and yeah, there's that.
Go ahead, J2K.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. This is the game. So in my opinion, we just hit a 4-game losing streak. We're 8-6. There's ESPN, Sports Center. There's question marks all over this team. And Caleb Williams and the rest of the team rallies around Monday night, and we lay down a beating on Minnesota. We got their number. We figured out Brian Flores. They don't have enough talent. Their quarterback's not good enough to handle our defense. This is a beatdown.
All right, man.
Boom.
I think Bishop, did you get a chance to go on this one?
I didn't go on this one because I said the first time we played Minnesota, this is the team in the division we spanking twice. So we can move on to Detroit.
All right, man. I'm calling this a W2, man. I think this is JJ McCarthy ain't gonna beat no damn body, man. I think he's like Scroll said, he's JJ McHandoff, and we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out a lot about that young man. I wasn't drinking the JJ juice during the off season. Ain't drinking it now. I hope he proves me wrong because he's a young quarterback that needs to develop, and I think there's some development that could be had there, and some improvements that can be had. A lot of improvements, but he's gonna have to show me more. And I don't know that I've seen enough in college to really be feeling good about this guy. I think the best thing they could have did was signing Sam Darnold in the offseason, man, because I think they're going to need him. Minnesota's in trouble in that game. I'm calling it a W. Here we go to Detroit again, man. Y'all got to come to our building again. Hey, Don, man, you're going to hate me by the time the season's over. We cool right now, but you're going to hate me, man. I'm going to have to watch it. Every time I get ready to walk out my house, man, I'm going to have to look under my car and everything, man, because everything's going to be, Don's going to not like me, man. Don's going to not like me. I'm telling you, we're going to beat the shit out of these dudes twice. All Flus has to do is not take his foot off the accelerator. We got these cats number. Calling a W early. I tried not to take no meat off the bone, but go ahead, kids.
So much for that. So this is, like I said, later in the story through, this is where we challenge for that North title, and unfortunately, we lose. That's my reality here. I think we take the L in the second fight against the Detroit Lions, but eventually take the title of the North by the end of the season. Who's next, Chris?
I don't see us. I think we lose this game. I mean, we lose it. I gave them a Thanksgiving game. We're going to split with them.
So you're going the other direction.
I'm definitely going at home. We're going to beat Detroit. If it happens, it's going to happen similar to what it did last year. I think the first game will be a close game in Detroit. Second game in Chicago, we will actually show everybody who's who. We'll smack them around. And hey, all I can say is it's going to be some knots on their head. See them, Donber? Knots. And the knots we're going to leave on your head.
What did Kendrick Lamar say? Wop, wop, wop. That's exactly what we're going to do to their ass twice. I can't wait. Don Berg going to be so sick. Hey, Don, I just want to know, man. You ain't going to go. We don't need to put no APB on your ass for 2-3 weeks.
Yep, you're exactly going to have to do that.
Ain't that what happened last time, Chris?
No, when they lost the NFC Championship game, man, we didn't hear from him again till when the draft.
He was on a milk carton.
Yeah, he was. Found him in Vietnam somewhere.
Found on 8 Mile.
Find him on the dark web in Vietnam.
They found that motherfucker in somebody's basement down in rural. They found him in somebody's basement down in rural fucking Arkansas somewhere, man. Like, nah, man, you can come out now, man. God, dog, man. That's terrible, man.
All right, I'm with Chris on this. I think we do just lose the Thanksgiving game. And this Detroit at home game, I think it's a close game, but I think we win. And I think what you're seeing now is after this 4-game slide, you're seeing the team starting to really rally around Caleb, and the passing game is building, and we're starting to become unstoppable.
Just for the record, guys, so when Don Bird goes to the all caps, I'm gonna give you Don Bird's language 1-on-1. When he starts going to the all caps, I'm nervous as fuck. I'm nervous. That's what he's trying to tell you. When he goes to the all caps, I'm nervous, guys. Stop saying this shit, y'all. Y'all making me scared, man. You should be
careful.
But go ahead, Bishop.
On this game, this is a redemption game because we did lose to the wait a minute, who are we on? We on Minnesota or Detroit?
We're on Detroit. Run Detroit.
Yeah. This is a redemption game for us. We lost to them on Thanksgiving. We're at home, and this is the game that's going to decide who's actually going to end up leading the North. Because at this point, I believe we'll be tied. We'll be tied with Green Bay for the North. Again, I hate to say it, but I think Detroit is, just because of the strength of their schedule, it's not going to be so easy for them this season. And but we'll win this game.
No question about it, Don. I know, man. I know, bro. I know. You ain't gotta tell nobody about it, man. You nervous as a hooker in church. I know you is, man. But we're gonna be all right, man. Y'all gonna take that L and be all right with it. Let's move on to Seattle Thursday night football game. Let me just pass it on to the Canuck, man. I got some interest about this.
At this point in the season, we dog walk the Seattle Seahawks. About that simple. That's how I see it. And I think this has everything to do with the growth of the quarterback, the establishment of the defense, the establishment of Matt Eberflus as a viable coach in the NFL. But more importantly, the establishment of Shane Waldron as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. This is him up against his old squad, and I think he's going to have all the reason to exact some level of revenge in this game. I expect nothing but a win here for the Bears. So one more W.
Yeah, I think it'll be a win too for the Bears, especially at home. Thursday night football. Yeah, I don't know. Will Geno still be their starting quarterback? He's got a. I mean, they brought Sam Howell in. Sam Howell may take the job.
Yeah, but Geno got a bigger contract, so I mean he'll be there doing the thing at that point. But
I mean, who knows? I mean, I think there's just so many questions. They're another team in transition, new coach. Yeah, they're just trying to find out who they are.
Right.
So I think we're going to show them week 16. I mean week 17.
Don, by the way, Don, anybody gonna block your ass, man? If we ain't blocked you by now, you ain't gonna get blocked. You just nervous, man. I understand, man.
Not gonna block me.
The best part of this is I'm gonna be a handful. You won't like me. Don, we don't like you now. We don't like you. We don't like you, Don. Don't get it twisted.
Be nice, guys. Be nice.
I'm
Come on,
sorry.
Don,
It's just someone joy.
You know what?
Been hanging with us all night, man. Be nice, man.
Don would be a great guy if he was a Bears fan.
Man, I could kick it. I can tell by the way Don does. I did see him on the show. I think he did Chat Sports, so I got to see Don. And I just gauge how he talks in the chat. Don's he full of shit and he likes to talk it. And he type of motherfucker I hang out with, man. We kick it and be real
just
good
gonna
friends,
say
man.
I'd actually love to watch a Bears Lions game with Don.
I know me and him would be cool, man. He
it
might
would be a great
guy,
game.
Man. He my type of guy, but he just he supports a different team and it's fun to fuck around with him, man. But ain't nobody gonna block you, man, because I know for a fact, even though you ain't gonna say it out loud, I know you respect what we do. So it's never gonna come to that, man. I can promise you that. You have to do some extraordinarily crazy shit to make that happen. I don't see it. Respect you, man, for coming in here and bringing your Lions energy, but we just gonna get in that ass and you're gonna have to deal with it. But what was it? J2K? Did we cut you off, man?
No, you guys are good. Seattle, I think Thursday night football. It's back to Caleb being prime time. I think this team is going to be rallying around Caleb. This is the point of the season. I'm super optimistic. And to look at the Seattle Seahawks, they didn't do much in the offseason aside from changing all their coaches. They re-signed Leonard Williams and Noah Fant, drafted Byron Murphy and Christian Haynes. That was their offseason and a whole bunch of new coaches. So I see very much a rebuild with them. Geno Smith, I think he's in kind of the last year of his contract. I think there's an out after next year, and that's why they brought in Sam Howell. So I see this as a win.
Can you say tank? This is they're tanking this year. I really believe it.
No, man.
Well, not financially. They put money into re-signing players.
No, but they want high picks. They need a quarterback, man, of the future. That's what they're shooting for. High draft
Yeah,
pick.
okay. Well, me personally, I don't think there's much to talk about for this game. I think Seattle will win that game. I got my eye on the last game of the season because I think it's going to all come down to this final game of the season. So I have the Bears beating Seattle on Thursday Night Football and leading to the last game of the year and final week, where half a game separates the two.
Well, I'm gonna call this one an L, man. I'm gonna tell you why.
Uh-oh.
Um, Seattle. I look at matchups again. There's always styles that make fights. You're gonna hear me say that one too many times. You're gonna hate me for saying it, but it's true. Um, Seattle took it to the number one defense last year, the number one defense in the league at the time, and made mincemeat out of those motherfuckers. And that was the Cleveland Browns. I think it was week 4 or 5 or something like that. Don't quote me on that on the week they played them, but they absolutely, and that was Shane Waldron's offense. As a matter of fact, that's Shane Waldron's offense. The guy that they have, and I can't think of his name, that's coming up behind him.
Mike
What did he do?
McDonald.
Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy is a mastermind. He's
Yeah.
like he's up there with Brian Flores. Is brilliant.
Yeah. So, what did you say? Win or loss there, J2K?
I said we get a win in this game. Just it's more so because of the Bears rallying behind Caleb and coming together as a team Thursday Night Football, and Seattle having so much coaching changes late in the season. I think they're going to be a losing team.
I think they're going to be better than people think.
Yeah,
I think I think Pete Carroll and his regime. I think they coach so well and they draft so well. They didn't push out the whole staff of Pete Carroll. They pushed out key pieces. They still have some pieces there to maintain continuity while Mike McDonald does what he does. I think they draft well and their coaching lineage goes down far enough and they root well into the system and keeps that team balanced. It keeps that team not taking a step or a huge step backwards. They're always consistent. And I'm telling you, I think that's a game that we can have trouble. I think that I like what they do, especially on defense. J2K is right. Mike McDonald's a beast calling that game from the defensive side. And he's coming after a rookie quarterback versus Gino, who's a veteran quarterback. I'm telling you, man, I might be wrong on this one, but I'm calling this one an L, man. I just don't like our chances in this game because I think that we can kind of overlook this team, and I think we can get our ass kicked on it.
Nomad, if they're still in the hunt in their division, I completely agree with you.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, this team is better than people give them credit for, man. I know Pete Carroll's gone. They just flip head coaches. I'm telling you, Seattle is tough. I mean, like 81-year-old man, toenail tough. They are a tough team, man. So I just wanted to put that out there. And here we go to the last game of the season, January 5th at Green Bay, man. Kids, what do you think, man?
So here's how things go. I think we win this game with a slight caveat. I have us beating Green Bay earlier. In my opinion, we beat Green Bay here and we take the North, with the slight exception of whether we've somehow already claimed a wild card berth at this point. If we have, we might just say it's okay. We don't care. We're going to sit our guys for the playoffs. So it really depends on how the rest of the season shakes out. This could be an L due to we just want to rest our folks because, like, who cares about the Green Bay Packers at this point in the season? That's where I'm at.
Chris?
First of all, man, I'm sick of the NFL putting us in Green Bay the last week of every season.
Yeah.
It's okay. This means we only need to beat them. It is. We only need to beat them once. We only need to beat them once.
Why can't the last game be in Chicago? It was in Green Bay last year, probably the year before that. I'm sick of that.
Here,
have it in
Chris,
Chicago.
I never.
No. This means we beat them the first game around, and this game means nothing. It's meaningless, and it's in Green Bay. It's fine.
But
We
go
just
ahead,
need to
Chris.
beat them.
I never
Listen.
noticed that we end up there all the time.
We're
I
Second year,
always,
second year in a row, brother.
man. And then, yeah. Anyway, uh, you know what? Again, this is kind of like the game I picked with Detroit on Thanksgiving. I'm just gonna say we're gonna lose it because I think if I say we'll win it, it'll somehow put the curse on them. So I think they're better than Green Bay. I think Jordan Love's going, at least hit some type of wall. But I'm not going to pick the Bears to win here. I picked them to win there last year, and I think Justin threw the ball 11 times or something. He's 11 for 16, so they should whatever. I just want them to be in the playoffs. I don't want. My biggest hope is that the game doesn't mean anything. I hope there's nothing riding on it and that we've already clinched the division by
I'm
then.
saying.
Again, J2K, sorry, season of optimism. Hey, this is where I am every year. I'm up on the hill. In November, I'll be up on the roof, ready to jump probably.
Some of
So,
joy.
yeah.
I just gotta say, what are you guys talking about? No, it doesn't matter playing Green Bay. Like, this is a meaningless game. No, this game means
don't know.
everything to
Well,
me.
I just want to.
Hell
I
no.
don't mind playing them in the last game. I just like to play it in Chicago sometime.
Oh, sure. But
Yeah, that's
even if we're playoff bound, dude, we're going to start everybody. Caleb is going to take this game as seriously as a playoff game, regardless if it's meaningless as far as matchups in the playoffs or home field advantage or whatever. This is going to be one of the best games that we play all year because we're gonna know that we're going to the playoffs. It's Green Bay and Caleb Williams is gonna want to get a W. Now, granted, I have Caleb and the Bears losing to Green Bay the first time, so he wants to own Green Bay at Green Bay, and this is the game that we start taking the North.
I
I just
I
listen.
love your optimism. I love your optimism,
Finally,
J2K.
someone
I love
noticed
your
optimism from me.
But because I had us win against Green Bay at home, week 11. This is a game. The reason, and hear me when I say this. This game means more to Green Bay than it does to us at this point because Green Bay is going to have lost the week before because they're going to go into Minnesota and get surprised. And I think Aaron Jones is going to run the hell out of the football and embarrass the Green Bay Packers. So Green Bay is going to lose in Minnesota the week prior, and then we go into Green Bay, and unfortunately, we lose in Green Bay, and we end up a wild card team going into the playoffs.
How about this? We just gave you guys 3 hours of content covering this thing. And I don't mean to be a peasant and beg, but we got not one damn super chat. And we're about to get to the point of the conversation where we're gonna try to predict what the record's gonna be. I'm not putting one damn record up unless we get a super chat. Not one. I'm just gonna talk about our. And we also, by the way, you guys don't take off yet because we have, we call ourselves, and I feel like we're the People's Podcast. And somebody reached out to me on Twitter and said that he's got a friend of his that's got some wall art that he made and he wants to get it out there. Some Chicago Bears wall art. I think some pretty cool stuff, man. And he said that, hey, no man, could you guys put that stuff out there? And so we're gonna show that to you at the very end after we predict what the record might be. And so don't go away anywhere, man. We got one of the No Maniacs or future No Maniac. We're gonna put the stuff on the expose and kind of give it a little platform, and hopefully you guys will give him a follow on Twitter. And so that's what he's looking for. He's looking for some attention to his artwork. So how about this, fellas? We'll start with you, Bishop, since you're at the top, and move all the way around. What do you think the record's going to be in the end?
11-6.
Easy. Let's go, kids.
The same.
11-6. Okay, Chris.
God, this is where the curse comes in. I You know, I'm gonna say 10-7. I hope 11-6. But I mean, it just depends on how well we can protect. Um, Caleb. I think he's gonna be good, but we got to protect him. We can't let that get that shell shock PTSD thing happening that we let happen to Justin. And we've got to get to the other guy's quarterback. If we can do that, 11-6, maybe 12-5.
Shout out,
Otherwise, I don't know. There's that. Whatever.
shout out to King Booker World, because
Thanks for the love, King Booker.
Thank you,
King, no
King.
matter what,
King Booker.
no matter what, if we ask, King always produces.
Come through.
And just to guys, let you guys know, we don't ask for super chats for anything, man. We got to do stuff with that. People need money. It's different things going on, and every time we ask, King Booker always produces. I don't care if it's 99 cents, a nickel, dollar, $2. I love you, bro, and appreciate every dime that you contribute. So thank you for that, King, man. Appreciate it. And he says he feels good about our chances this year. I do too. But go ahead, J2K.
But I think it's interesting that we don't agree on which game we win or lose, but I think we all agree overall that I'm saying 11-6, and I'm hearing 11-6, 11-6, 10-7, 11-6, and I think we're all in the same place. Just a shout out to Nicholas. We appreciate your opinion on the whole Caleb Justin Fields debate. We can support whoever we want. That's our right to do so as people with opinions, and we all support Caleb. So whatever your opinions are, it's great to hear it, and we appreciate you sharing that with us.
I'm gonna tell you who Nicholas is. He's somebody from another podcast that has a burner account, trying to bring other people's podcasts down. That's those shitty people. Those shitty people's below the frequency where he needs to be. That needs a burner account, not man enough to come out and say the fuck he is. So excuse that man. So we're not gonna pay any attention to that. That's what that is. So just to be crystal clear with you guys, but I appreciate you, Immortal. He says he's just here $2 super chat so he don't get fined. We don't fine anybody, man. We love everybody. If you're a Bears fan, we love you. If you hear that's not bringing divisiveness to this thing, man, we love you, Immortal, and everything you bring to us, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. And also,
Boom.
quick, we got another one up here. The Scrolls, $4.99 super chat. He's saying we're going undefeated to the
Now
playoffs.
that's optimism right there.
I'm loving it.
My
That's some
man, the
optimism,
Scrolls.
brother.
The scrolls, yes,
I
baby.
don't know what
Scrolls.
they got written in them scrolls, bro, but
He's
you need to
preaching,
share
man.
them scrolls.
He's
Man,
preaching.
puff pants,
Hey,
baby.
you know my man's avatar. Do you guys recognize his avatar?
No.
That's no, I don't know who that is, man.
That's the cussing preacher.
The cussing preacher.
Man,
kinda
back
look
from
like Sugar
15
Free.
years ago, that
For those who know.
he'd get on YouTube and cuss everybody out, preach the sermon. Scrolls, tell me in the chat if that is not your avatar as the cussing preacher. I'm sure it is. If it's you, brother, I apologize, but you look just like him.
Damn. Hey, the Scrolls, man. Man, the Scrolls is funny, man. That dude. It was times when he was in here getting on our ass about supporting Justin Fields so much, and when he didn't feel like we was giving Caleb enough support, and all that stuff. I'm glad people were able to see through. I'm just one of those people that's loyal. Justin Fields was our quarterback.
We weren't supposed to support anybody but Justin.
Right. Until it became
Justin was our quarterback. When he left, you know what, man? These people
don't get that, man. People
Ain't
do
no
not
need
get
to
that.
ain't no need to explain it, bro. Ain't no need to explain
No. It is worth explaining. I'm gonna tell
and
you.
I want to argue. I feel like arguing anyway.
It's worth explaining because it's a lot of people that are unclear about that, and they tend to believe that because you supported Justin Fields, somehow you didn't like Caleb Williams, and that's so far from the truth, man.
Right.
And me expressing myself about it is just saying that I'm loyal, man. I'm with the people that's with me. Justin was with us. He gave us everything he had, so I think he earned my respect for him. That I'm just speaking for myself. He earned it from me. And so I was willing to go to the wall for him. Didn't have anything to do with a dislike for Caleb Williams. But that's over. It's in the past. Caleb's our quarterback. I'm gonna give him that kind of energy now. But he's got to also earn it.
And why can't two things be true? Why can't we support
Exactly.
Justin Fields and
Exactly.
Caleb Williams?
Exactly.
And Nicholas, we did watch tape. Don't try to say that we didn't watch no tape.
Be yourself said we was OD. Y'all was OD over Justin. He said he's glad we over it. Man, it's just
Like y'all know who this is, right? You know who Nicholas is? Y'all can tell y'all know who Nicholas is, right?
don't even say it, kids.
I'm not gonna say it. I ain't saying nothing. I'm just trying to make sure that Nicholas knows. We know who you are. We know who you are, Nick.
Oh,
we know who you are. The chat, if you're paying attention, just look at the way, just like you look at Don Burr and determine that Don Burr is Jahmyr Gibbs and Brad Holmes. You can tell by the way that they write and the way that they speak. I know exactly who this is. I'm just saying. Hopefully, y'all figure it out too, and you can ixnay their show.
Let me tell you something. It's a lot of podcasters that get into the sword fighting, if you know what I mean, and trying to be the king dingling of Chicago Bears podcast. And the way they feel like they get an advantage is to try to bring down somebody else's podcast. And that's what they do. They get burner accounts and go into people's podcasts and try to bring them down and be negative. Man, I could say some names myself too, but I won't say it because you ain't worth my fucking time. You ain't worth my fucking time. You know, you're in here talking shit, but we'll just leave it there. Just know, chat, that you got podcasters out here that you support every day, every single day, and you give them all your respect, but you don't know they've got multiple burner accounts going into these different podcasts that they think present a threat to them. You know, when somebody knows how to talk about football, that's a threat to them. You know, they just want to bring someone down. And that's what I'm talking about, beneath the frequency people. This guy's in here really from another podcast with a burner account. He ain't man enough to come from behind that veil. Come on,
And
man.
it's not the first time either. No, even like it's funny. Y'all think it's Ghost. It ain't Ghost. Ghost will show up and he'll throw Ghost in his handle. He'll throw it all day long. It ain't the Ghost. You know
it ain't Don Burr either.
Well,
it ain't Don Burr either. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
like Don Burr, at least we know who Don Burr is. We
it's
know
not
who you
Scrolls
are,
either, because hey, tell me this is not Scrolls.
No. Hey,
that's Reverend X, man. Y'all don't remember that dude, man? Reverend X. Man, go on.
I'll back
look up
search
Reverend
him.
X.
Sugar Free, the rapper Sugar Free.
Look up Reverend X.
That's Immortal. You right. We above you, motherfuckers. So fuck y'all. Y'all can come in here anytime you want to and talk all the shit you want to. You still a piece of shit, and it's gonna be found out eventually. Coming in here with this quick ass burner account, you punk bitch.
It's okay. You know what I mean? But that's just one more viewer for our show, right? So it is.
I know I said too much. I'm gonna watch my mouth from here on out, man. Yeah, don't get me
good,
started.
Nomad.
All right. Hey,
Keep it
listen.
real.
On a lighter note here, shameless plug.
Oh man, look at this dude! Look at all.
All right.
Producer extraordinaire.
Shameless plug. That's
Look at this dude.
That's
Excellent
pre-COVID.
Photoshop skills.
In the drip, baby. In the drip.
Hey, that's definitely pre-COVID.
Post Photoshop.
Oh
you
yeah,
right.
might have a little touch up on it.
And you're right, Don.
Might have a filter on it.
And you're right, Don. They don't get me started, man. I cut your motherfucking ass out, boy. I know who you are. I'm just saying, though. Hey, Chris, did you give your record, or did I miss that part?
Oh man,
Yeah,
I said
Chris
10
gave
and
it.
6.
Yeah, Chris gave it.
10 and
Okay,
6. 10 and
J2K.
7, brother.
All right. J2K.
11 and 6.
Okay.
I think we're
And
11 and 6.
that
almost
is
across
with
the board.
Caleb Williams and not Justin Fields, Mr. Nicholas.
So somebody's putting freaking podcast in here. I don't know how their name got into it, but I'm gonna go with 11 and 6. I'm gonna go with 11. Don't say nothing, kids. I see you, man. I love you, bro.
I'm good, bro. Don't worry about me.
Don't even pay it no attention. We know what time it is.
Don't worry about me.
I'm going 11 and 6. I feel good about that. I think that's a good, healthy way to look at the season. I think 6 losses. I think we're gonna learn some shit in those 6 losses. I think it's gonna be some growth in those losses. If it ends up being 10-7, and like Chris said, I think in every loss, especially for a rookie quarterback, there's a potential for growth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And growth is one of those things that you can't run away from those lessons. You know what I mean? What you do is you run to them, get right to the tape. You get right to the fucking tape, and you figure out where those losses came from. Is it something that you did? And I'm talking about from the rookie quarterback all the way down to the coaching staff. There's a lesson in every fucking loss. You just got to find them. And so that would be my take before I hand this thing off to the bishop and start giving some closing statements and some pleasantries before we get out of here.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us this evening. It's been it's been fun, uh, especially you, Don Bird, man. You know what? It was definitely a pleasure having you in the chat tonight. You know, thanks for hanging out with us, man. You may
He's
see
a
us
real
as
one. Eh? He's a real one.
yeah.
He's a
I
real
mean,
one.
you know what? And you can't you know you can't hate them for it. You know, and it's all good. You know what I'm saying? On the real,
It's so true. It's
you
so
know.
true. Like, Bishop,
You-
just to touch on a little bit, my guy, when we were doing the draft show, my guy Stub Rock out of Toronto jumped in and gave us some love and was watching the show. And in comes Don Burr, and he's like, "No, really, for real, Don Burr." And I'm like, "What? Why are you going back and forth with Don Burr in the chat? Like, he's from T Dot. He's not even a Bears fan. He's repping for me. He's like, yo, I think he said." I think he said he's like a White Sox fan, and Don goes crazy with the Detroit baseball. He trolled Detroit baseball too. Like he does. John doesn't mess around. If it's Detroit, he's in the chat, yo. He's in the chat. That's just what it
Hey,
is.
and you gotta love somebody, man, that support their teams like that, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So nothing but respect and love to you, Don Burr. But no, baby, it won't be 6-11. It'll be 11-6 for sure. You know what I'm saying? Uh, believe that. You know, I just think, man, you know, with everything that we've seen this evening, man, with regarding to the schedule and all, I think every loss is going to be pivotal in regards to taking this team to the next level. You know, and each loss is going to come at key points of the schedule and the season that's going to help with the growth of our quarterback. You know, so I'm saying that to say this: it's going to be an exciting season because of the strength of the schedule. It's very favorable toward the Bears, and that's why I'm leaning 11-6 this season, which I think is going to be great because with the number of draft picks that we have for next draft, that really sets us up to truly take over the North. Because remember, I said I was on the record to say we will make the playoffs, but it'll be as a wild card team this year. But after this, yeah, we coming forward, and we not going and we're not taking no prisoners. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the strength of schedule, you know. But with that being said, man, hey, it's been a pleasure chopping it up with you guys on Nomad at Night. I hadn't been on at Nomad at Night for a minute, and if you know, I'm glad I got a chance to chop it up with you guys for sure, for sure. I appreciate it. The tequila is it finally settled in. I'm feeling real good, and it's at the right time. So, hey, kids, my man, take us away, brother.
Look, no maniacs. 3 hours worth of scheduled love. In the end, we came down to about 11-6 consensus across the board, which is pretty crazy. You know, I had some stuff going one way, other people had things going the other way. It all rounded out to 11-6. We'll get Reverend X to curse Nicholas out. Word up. Go, Scrolls. Get him.
Don't worry. Wait till my chance. You want to see some fireworks? I'm gonna light his motherfucking ass up.
So clearly, Nomad been drinking this whole 3 hours because normally he ain't that loose with the tongue. In any event, it's awesome hanging out with you guys. Love it. You know what I hate though? I hate gatekeepers. I'm just gonna put it out there now. I hate gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are the worst. Hate bouncers. Hate under normal, with the exception of Don Burr. I hate trolls under bridges. These are not things that I'm a fan of. Look, the Bears had a quarterback. Some people were behind the quarterback that the Bears had. Others were less behind him. We now have a new quarterback. We've all moved on. feel free to keep standing at the gate. Everybody else is already in the arena. I'm in the arena. We're gonna be in the arena, dog. Forget the gate. Bear down. Claws out. Chris?
Well, listen, man. This seemed like an old school Nomad at night, like we used to do back in the day. In honor of that, we need to say hi to Amanda. Haven't seen her in a while.
Hey, man, what's going
All
on?
right. And Stephanie, she's looking nice too.
Hey, what's your little
Hello.
bony ass?
Yeah, she is bony. And there's Matilda.
Man, get these little kids off the screen, man.
Hey, man. Hey, I didn't load up the heavyweights. I should have.
Is that
I
the new
didn't load
Beatrice?
them up.
You trying to get
You gotta
motherfucker locked up, man. Get this shit out of here.
Upgrade. Beatrice
Hey.
got an upgrade.
I
What you
know,
do,
I
man?
do, man. Listen,
Trying to
thanks
get
for
some
everybody.
motherfuckers some
Hey,
baby shit.
let me finish. Thank everybody for hanging out with us. Love all you guys. Stay with us. This is the season of optimism. Hey, we're going to win the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. Caleb's going to the Hall of Fame. I'm a Bears fan, and that's where it starts and that's where it ends. So, what you can't make me mad this time of year. It's we have no losses right now. So I'm all ready to go. Don't you guys forget, hit the like, subscribe button, hit the notification so you know when we're coming. All my guys on the panel, Bishop, Kids, J2K, love you guys. Nomad, you my partner. You know where I'm at. Bear down.
Get him, J2K.
I'm gonna keep this pretty simple and bring this a little bit down to earth with y'all. It's all about the community. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I appreciate everybody on the Nomad Network. I'm very optimistic about this season. I hope we can all rally together and support the Bears and
Why you-
support each other.
J2K.
What?
Hey, you
What
can't.
you post that for, no man? What you posting for? You know, no man,
sorry,
been
J2K,
clearly
man.
drinking back here. You're clearly drinking.
I'm sorry, man. You got a bunch of jackasses. I'm sorry, J2K. And you were trying to be
All right, y'all faded. Anyway, thank you to everybody who showed up tonight. You guys are all my Bear brothers and Bear sisters, and I appreciate you all. I appreciate the community that we've all built together. I appreciate you guys showing up every single time for the Nomad Network, for everything these guys do. These guys put in a lot of work to bring you this content, and I just thank you for having me a part of this, and that's to everybody in the chat and everybody on the panel. So thank you. Have a great night, you guys. Bear down and claws out.
Thank you for that, man. I appreciate everybody for coming tonight, man. It was a good time, man. We gave you guys almost 3.5 hours worth of content, but it was a good time doing it. There's no work when it comes to this podcast like this one right here. When you're just here to have fun. That's what we came to do. Have fun, celebrate, have a good time, and enjoy it. Kind of make a party out of the schedule release and actually go through it, step by step, game by game, and point out those things about, these matchups that we think might be worth pointing out. And we did that. And I do feel bullish about this Bears team. I do, man. This ain't no cap here. This is just me feeling like the way I feel about this team and the opportunity that we have. I think they're aligned right. The alignment around them is right. The situation is right. If you're going to be bullish about a Chicago Bears football team with a rookie quarterback coming into a situation, if you're ever going to get bullish about a situation like this is a very good reason to do just that. I think they got this situation exactly where they want it to be. I think they know what they're doing. I think with some growing pains here and there, it's going to be some growth happening. You know what I mean? They've got to learn. You know what I mean? But I think what they do with those learning situations, I think is going to make them something else later on down the road, something that we don't see coming. And I do really feel good about this team. And the hell with everything you thought about what we thought about Caleb Williams, man. Nicholas, you piece of shit, because you won't come from behind your veil and show exactly who you are. Come in here and say what you want to say. We have a very good community over here at the Nomad Network, a very good community. These are positive people that like to come into this chat and have good discussion and verbatim back and forth with each other. You know, Donberg comes in here. He's a Detroit Lion fan. Every now and again, we get a Green Bay Packer fan that comes in here. It doesn't matter. We welcome them all as family. You know, we had a contentious time for debate when that Justin Fields situation came about. And guess what? Justin Fields ended up being traded. Reasons being Ryan Poles, you can talk to him about that. But we did what we thought was best. Support the quarterback that we have. That's what we did. It didn't mean that we didn't think Caleb Williams was a good quarterback, or we thought Caleb Williams was a bad person or a bad player. It didn't have anything to do with that. But some people that live beneath that frequency that we vibrate at over here at the Nomad Network want to stay down in that shit. And they want to keep people down there with them. Guess what? Stay down in that shit with the pigs, dude. I'm not going to block you, but I'm going to clown your punk ass every time you come in here because you won't say who the fuck you are. You're not man enough to do that. Because when you say who you are, that means you have to put your name behind it. That means you might have to see somebody out there that might want to holler at you about it. You ain't going to do that. You ain't going to do it. You're going to hide behind that veil and you're going to try to come into this chat room and try to disrupt it and try to sow some dissension in here. I'm going to tell you right now, we built a strong community and it ain't going to work. We're going to just slap your ass around. That's all we're going to do. So come back again, please. We're looking forward to it because I can't wait to get a hold of your ass. But with that being said, man, we love you guys, man. Appreciate what you guys do for us as a channel and as a network, man. If you have not, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the community and you like what we do around here. I apologize for the vulgarity, but people will bring you there when they intentionally come to your channel and try to sow dissent in your shit, man. That's to me is unforgivable. I'm gonna slap his ass around or anybody that comes in here anytime that happens. So I just want to tell you guys I love you guys for keeping this community the way it is.
Okay, wait.
Stop
before
doing
you end
that.
the show. Before you end the show. Before you end the show. X-Men 97 is super awesome. Everybody should watch it from beginning to end. That's all I got to say. Fair enough.
Sorry for the skinny girls. I'll do better.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I ain't got no problem with a ham sandwich.
There you go.
All right, stop it, man. You stepping on my
message. Hey, listen, Nomad, you got me going earlier.
I know, man. That's my fault.
The conversation we had earlier, so don't say a word.
That's my fault, man. I did that to you, man. So I appreciate you guys, everybody, for coming. We had a good show, man. I had a good time doing this. But with that being said, I got to leave you guys with these famous words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Peace, y'all. Bear down, claws out.
Claws out.
Bishop finna go get him some cake.